Welcome to week 6 of pregame around the GMC. I'm Max Earl, and Beck Lucas should be with me. I don't know.
Sorry I'm late. I was just attending Cole Rain's funeral.
We'll talk about that later. But we are here to give you a rundown around the GMC, look at this week's upcoming matchups, talk about last week, how East performed. Pretty good. And that's where we're going to start things off. East played Fairfield. We might have thought, this might be a close game. I mean, it wasn't even close at all.
Not even close at all. Not even from the jump. I mean, East got out to a quick lead, 7-0, and then they just expanded on that. They were up 42-10 at one point. There was just nothing Fairfield could do to slow down East's offense, other than some unlucky turnovers. JT Kitna did make a questionable read where he threw an interception. Chauncey Peck had the fumble, but other than that, nothing went wrong for this East offense.
Yeah, and East was just, everything was working, and Kitna really was just firing away. I mean, 6 passing touchdowns in the air, that's kind of insane, especially against the team Fairfield, who we thought were kind of competent at least. Going to be middle of the road in the GMC, kind of looked like one of those Colerain or Sycamores from the beginning of the season last week.
Well, I believe it was only 5 passing touchdowns through the air, but still absurd. 4 in the first half. They're easily East's best half of football all year, and I was really pleased with the way they played.
Yeah, and I think aside from that one mistake you talked about from Kitna, I feel like he made a lot of good reads. He missed a couple deep throws, but his receivers made up for it, and we saw Zion Neal really shine too. He had 2 touchdowns and that one really impressive acrobatic catch on the left side.
Yeah, well, you saw the 2 touchdowns from Neal, but I think the receiver that did it all this week was P.J. McFarland, the big tight end. 4 catches, 61 yards, and a touchdown. His touchdown, such a good block from Zion Neal. All he had to do was just walk into the end zone untouched, and just they were leaving that flat route wide open all night.
Yeah, and I think it's really awesome to have P.J. kind of evolve into that tight end position. They kind of were missing it the first couple games, and it came back obviously last week, and he looks like he's a real asset, especially on those shorter passes that Kitna can really just dump it down to, and he can get some yards.
And we talked about before the game the quarterback matchup. Dominic Back, Fairfield's quarterback, second in the GMC in passing yards before that game, second in the GMC in passing touchdowns. He was trailing just JT Kitna, who was first in the GMC in those categories. Dominic Back, 7 for 17, 53 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Safe to say JT Kitna won this quarterback battle.
Yeah, for sure, and I think you have to credit this East defense, all those linebackers, not just the Cohen Reap, who we talk about a lot. It was pretty much all of those linebackers, and really the secondary stepped up. We saw them really get into Dominic Back's head, I think, and we saw him start missing simple screen throws where they would just go into the dirt. I think East just kind of fired away with more momentum than Fairfield was expecting, and it caused some mental errors, and ultimately it caused them to only be able to score 17 points against East's 59. Pretty lopsided scoring there.
Yeah, and East only didn't have too many sacks. I think they didn't have a single sack. They didn't need to. I mean, missed throws, short runs. They held Tyler George, who is first in the GMC in all-purpose yards and rushing yards, to his first game where he didn't amass 100 yards. He did have 97, which is basically close enough, but didn't hit that 100-yard mark. And Connor Cruz with the big pick 6, that was huge. That kind of sealed the game in that second half.
Yeah, that really kind of sucked the momentum out of Fairfield. We also saw that onside kick in the first half. Cole Miranda was able to jump on. There was just a lot of big plays for East in this game that I think really boosted them to be able to score 59 points. There were a lot of drives where they just were driving down. Everything was working, and they would have that long touchdown. And we saw, again, Jaden Shea make another big catch. I mean, pretty much all the guys you expect to see on that East offense all played great. So we'll move on with that to our favorite segment, predictions of the week around the GMC. And we'll start with Lakota West, who is facing off against Cole Rain this week. And Lakota West just came off of a win against Middletown. And I'm sorry. Look at me. I'm going to need to talk to you, Middletown. You had a chance. You were 4-0. You were coming into this game atop of the GMC. All this talk I saw online. Where is Middletown in these top rankings? Why is Middletown not ranked high in Ohio? I'll tell you why. You played great against the bottom of the GMC. Oak Hills, Sycamore, Colerain. All great. You played those games great. Your first game, you won an out-of-conference game. Great. You go into Lakota West. You have a chance to make a name for yourself, and you don't produce. You lose 51-7. You score 1 touchdown. What happened to this Middletown offense? You guys were able to execute And on defense, you were able to make stops, and that all just went away against Lakota West. And from an East fan's point of view, this also is very annoying because Lakota West now has had 2 games in a row where they have scored over 50 points. So Middletown, all I have to say to you is do better. I know we're playing you this week. I know it's probably going to be a rough week for you, but do better. I mean, show yourself as at least a contender for the top of the GMC. You lost 51-7. How do you respond to that? You're going to have to, I don't know, put in a lot of work. If you want to turn the season back around, this is one of those games that starts a losing streak. You cannot have that happen if you're Middletown, and I really think that they kind of just exposed themselves in that game, and I apologize for the rant, but it had to be said. Middletown, what are you doing?
Well, not much I can say about that. I mean, I saw it coming from a mile away. I think Middletown was frauds. They played the bottom of the GMC, and they almost lost to Coleraine, who just took an L to Sycamore. Like, 16-10. You only beat Coleraine 16-10, and you thought you should be ranked higher. It's tough because you're going against West, but still, only 1 touchdown and allowing 51 points. That's something Fairfield would do.
Yeah, and now East is going into West in a few weeks, and West has a pretty easy schedule coming up, and that's what we're talking about here. Lakota West at Coleraine at Lakota West. And, I mean, for this matchup, I have nothing to say, but I'm sorry, Coleraine. I mean, you had your chance against Sycamore last week, and you kind of blew it. And you have kind of a rough schedule coming up. So keep your head in the game at least. I mean, any bright spots, maybe try some new things out, but I do think that Lakota West, this is one of those games where you might even get a chance to see some backups, and I have Lakota West running away 57-12 in this game.
I mean, just Coleraine, you blew your one opportunity to get a win. You're now on an even more insane losing streak. You haven't won since 2022. You had your best chance. Sycamore's getting blown out all year, and you only put up 7 points on them. There's just nothing else to say. 64-6, Lakota West wins this one.
Yeah, I think we saw this week a lot of the matchups were lopsided outside of that Sycamore-Coleraine game, and a lot of teams kind of just disappointed this week, and yeah, Coleraine, I mean, it's been a while since you won, but you thought maybe at least you had a chance, and you kind of blew it. So we'll move on to Fairfield at Mason, which is my game of the week, and it's really the only game of the week besides maybe East game that I could see being close. Obviously, Fairfield and Mason are pretty close to each other in the middle of that GMC. Mason is coming off of a loss where they only scored 7 points, and Fairfield obviously coming off of the loss where they allowed 59. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
Yeah, Fairfield's coming off back-to-back blowout losses where they've allowed 50 points in each of them to the Lakotas, and I think it's a big opportunity for Mason to really show what their offense can do, because it's been a struggle for Mason's offense. Their defense has carried them through a lot of these games. I think it's a great opportunity for Ashton Schaaf to finally get going. You see Fairfield not very good against the pass. Opportunities for him to throw the ball, and I got to say, it's going to be a close one. I think Fairfield is just, they had some injuries last week too, and it's like, how much can you really take? I have Mason winning this one 21-24.
Yeah, I kind of have the same thing going here. Obviously, Fairfield getting destroyed in their last 2 games, and I mean, Fairfield, a team that has some weapons on offense, but I really think that Mason's defense is at least solid enough to shut that down. And Dominic Back, really surprising to see him that high in the GMC stats-wise early on, because when we saw him against East, he kind of just looked rattled out there. I mean, we saw 4 of his screen passes just hit the dirt, didn't even get close to the receiver. I think that Mason can play off of momentum, and I think Mason's running back Adesanya also can have a little bit of a statement game against Fairfield. I think this is a good chance for Mason to kind of pave themselves as kind of a upper half of the GMC team instead of lower half with maybe a blowout win, but I ultimately think this is also going to be a close game. 3 points or 4-point difference. I think Mason comes away with a 21-17 win in this one. So we move on to Sycamore at Oak Hills. 2 teams that have had their struggles, but Sycamore, we both didn't expect that they won their last game against Coleraine.
I mean, I am shocked that they won that game. I mean, you can't blame me for thinking that way. They've been blown out every game, and I talked about this already with Coleraine. I can't believe Coleraine lost that game. Easy opportunity for a win, and he only put up 7 points. But Sycamore did pull off the upset, and they won the toilet bowl. We called it the toilet bowl. They did win it, and are they going to ride that momentum, or are they going to come back down to earth?
Yeah, I think you mentioned the toilet bowl. They were able to flush Coleraine. get that one win. And I think here's my thinking here, though, is Sycamore got a little bit of momentum from that win against Coleraine because I think everyone thought Coleraine was the better team in that matchup, and they just simply came out flat. So maybe Sycamore has a little bit of a pep in their step, and I think Oak Hills has really struggled the last few weeks. Obviously, they got blown out last week, and I think this is a chance for Sycamore to make a statement as well and not just be one of the two laughingstocks in the GMC. If you can beat Oak Hills, you can at least be a competent bad team in the GMC. And I honestly think that Sycamore has a chance in this one, especially against an Oak Hills offense that has struggled. And if that defense can step up, I think Sycamore might take a 17-14 W in this game.
Well, I'm thinking the opposite. I think Oak Hills wants to bounce back from their blowout loss. And they have thrown a lot of interceptions this year. But Sycamore, they haven't caught a lot of interceptions this year. So I don't think Oak Hills is going to have a struggle with the interceptions that they did last week and the weeks prior. That's really why Oak Hills is losing these games. They're throwing untimely picks in bad spots, and they're just they're putting their defense out on the field a lot more than they should. And I think against Sycamore, you saw Oak Hills blow out Coleraine. And I know Sycamore just beat Coleraine, but to me, it's going to be another Oak Hills blowout. I don't think Sycamore has what it takes in this one. It's going to be 48-12.
Wow. So we are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum for that game. We'll see what happens. So with that, we will move on to the big matchup of the week, the whole reason you're here. Lakota East versus Middletown. East is at home in the Hawks' Nest, and I already ranted about Middletown, so I'll spare them another one. But I really think Middletown has to either come into this game playing with their hearts out, a new kind of football we haven't seen yet, especially on the defensive side, and they need to figure out how to stop this East offense, because I think if they don't, this is going to be another blowout win for East. And Middletown's defense they run is a 4-4, and it's kind of good against the run, but we saw last week against West, it allows a lot of big plays in the pass, and that's really what John Kitna likes to exploit on offense. So I think Middletown's going to have some struggles in this game. Yeah, well,
if Middletown comes out in their 4-4, JT Kitna is going to throw it over their head to Zion Neal, and it's going to be like that all night if they stay in that 4-4. I think there's just no way East offense is going to slow down against Middletown. West put up 50 points. West also put up 50 points on Fairfield, and we thought that game might be closer, East versus Fairfield, and it wasn't. So I have no doubts anymore that this East offense is going to get it done. They're going to put up big points. Middletown's coming off the blowout loss. Maybe they want to cement themselves more, but they could also, their spirits could be just crushed. I mean, you started 4-0. You think you're going to be top tier in the GMC, and you get absolutely smashed by Lakota West. They could be coming out for revenge, trying to prove themselves again, like I said, but I just don't think it's going to happen. East offense is too in sync right now and on fire. I think East wins this one, 35-21.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think East offense is just too high-powering for this Middletown defense to stop. And an interesting thing I think you need to look at on paper, too, is Middletown's DBs are very short, and East has a lot of tall guys that can get the ball. Outside of Zion Neal, who's obviously shorter, he's really quick, but you have Chris Boyer, you have PJ McFarland, who really came into his own last game. I think East is going to take advantage of the height advantage and the size advantage, and I think East's run game, even against good run defenses like Princeton, is still going to be able to get enough done to run their play action and catch Middletown off guard. And unlike you, I don't even think this one's going to be close at all. I think this is going to be a blowout. I think East has Middletown already completely schemed out, and I think East is going to win this one 52-21. I think we get 250-plus wins in a row, and I mean,
we'll see. I'm excited.
Me too. So we hope you'll stick around for what should be a very interesting game. Obviously, Lakota East against Middletown. We thank you for watching Week 6 of Pregame. I'm Max Earl with Beck Lucas, and we thank you for watching.
welcome Welcome to week 6 of GMC football, and as you can see, the Hawks Nest is experiencing the direct after effects of Hurricane Helene, but nonetheless, we are here to bring you East football straight out of Lakota East High School. I'm Max Earl, with me is Beck Lucas, and this should be a very interesting matchup.
Well, it is wet outside, playing in a hurricane. It's going to look like 1940s football out there, just running the ball all game. You're not going to see a lot of passes tonight.
Yeah, and both these teams coming off of opposite sides of their last game. Obviously, East just demolished Fairfield at Fairfield, winning by over 40 points. And Middletown coming off of the loss against Lakota West, where they snapped their undefeated streak and moved down to 4-1. So both these teams come into this game with different goals. East obviously trying to kind of get a win streak going, and Middletown trying to get back on top of things. So, with the national anthem complete, we look ready for football. Both teams will finish up their warm-ups. And, Beck, I think, like you talked about, the biggest part of this game is going to be the two running backs on both sides of the ball.
Well, on each side, you got Ryder Hooks and you got Chauncey Peck. On the Middletown side, you got Gasson Graham and Dimitri and James. Both teams like to run two backs, but we've seen on east side, Ryder Hooks getting all the carries. All the carries last week. Some carries from Chauncey Peck, but these last couple weeks, Ryder Hooks has gotten the ball almost every time we run it. This night, running it almost every play, he's going to need some breaks. And that's when they're going to put in Chauncey Peck, who is a great number 2 back.
For sure, and I expect to see the number 3 back as well, Carter Jones, who's used a lot in the receiving game. Had a touchdown last week on a screen pass. Should see a lot of runs. Talking to some of the East players earlier today, they all expected only runs, and it seems like the weather has contributed to that. Obviously, heavy rainfall and wind above 15 miles an hour.
Well, it is good that the weather has died down. Earlier today, about 3 o'clock, you'd swear a tornado was about to spawn in and just sweep everything up. But now, wind is down. The rain stopped for a little bit, but it does seem like it is back now. This is going to be an interesting one. Expect a couple fumbles, a special teams kind of battle. Like, who's going to be the best at kicking, because there's not going to be, the ball's not going to touch the end zone a lot.
And it looks like East will get the ball first here. Wanting to score first, they won the toss and elected to receive. And like you said, it's going to come down to these two run games and staying ahead of the sticks, because like you said, special teams is going to be a problem for both teams.
Yeah, both punters not having the best averages on the season, and it's going to come down to field position. Winning the turnover battle is a huge one, and got to see who strikes first.
So Middletown will kick it off first. It's a squib down the middle that Carter Jones fields, and they'll play it from there. There's a flag on Middletown on the kickoff. I believe some motion before the ball was kicked. And I think they will redo the kickoff. Yeah, it was a false start on the kicking team. So we'll try this one again.
We talk a lot about winning the position on the field battle, and not a great start here for Middletown.
So with rain pouring down, they'll try this one again. Noah Nichols will try to kick off for real this time. Kick right down the middle once again. Fielded back at about the 15. Trying to take it out, getting upfield. And Thurman breaks through a few tackles. He's got a room on the right side, and he's pushed out right at midfield. East will have good starting field position.
What a huge return from Thurman. East already going to be at the 50, but it's going to get slowed down a lot. Like you said, field position's a huge thing in this one. Obviously, expect a run right out of the gate.
And as East offense comes out here, we'll take a look at East's starting lineup for this one on offense. Led obviously by the trio in the backfield there. JT Kittner, Ryder Hooks, and Chauncey Peck should see the bulk of the work this week.
They're going to be the stars of the show in this one.
Middletown defense allowed over 50 points last week to Lakota West. They'll try to limit the run game. 1st and 10. First play of the game is a toss to Ryder Hooks to the left side. Gets upfield and a gain of about 8 to start this game.
Well, he had a great game last week against Fairfield, up over 100 yards, got his first touchdown of the year, wanting to do big things again in this one, and he's going to get his opportunity. Expect well over 30 carries in this one for Ryder Hooks.
Yeah, and Ryder Hooks a guy who's great at ball security too, so East definitely more trusting of him. Chauncey Peck has had a few fumbles on the season. Should see a lot of Ryder Hooks today. See Kitten in the shotgun for the first time today. They usually run out of shotgun, but obviously these conditions should limit that, and there we see it right there. A bad snap goes over the head of Kittner, and he will launch that one away from danger. A 3rd and 2 will come up as a result.
Well, that happened a couple times last week, and that is not something you want to see this early. If they keep doing that all night, that's going to be a problem for East. It happened a couple times against Fairfield, and on one of those, it forced JT Kittner to throw his only interception of that game, and now they're faced with a 3rd down and 2.
And we can take a look at Kittner's stats on the season. 60% completion, 10% less than he wanted, but he is leading the GMC in yards and touchdowns. Back under center for 3rd down and 2. Hand off to Hook. And he is swallowed up by the swarm of Middletown linemen. We'll bring up a 4th down at about the 45, and we should see the East punt team.
Well, Ryder Hooks getting tackled in the backfield is not something you see often. On a 3rd down and 2, you go with the dive. Thought you might have a for sure 1st down, but this rain and these elements going to make it hard.
And obviously 4th and less than 5, so Kittner will most likely try a hard count here to get Middletown to jump. They're back in the shotgun. And they will actually snap it. The first pass tonight. And Kittner will take off up the middle. He's got a big hole and gets through the Middletown secondary for a gain of about 20. They are inside the 25.
Well, all year John Kitten has played his offense risky, and it has worked out. Huge run here to pick up the 1st down. And that is huge. Picking up that 4th down, getting close to field goal range, getting close to that touchdown. I said it a lot. Not going to be a lot of balls in the end zone, but trying to get one here.
1st and 10 now for East, knocking on the door of the red zone. Ryder Hooks obviously hungry for his 2nd touchdown of the year. It's another pass. And fires one out to Chris Boyer, who gets almost enough for the 1st down. It will be enough. Impressive passing in these conditions.
That's a tough catch to make. Kitten throwing it right at him. Seemed like 100 miles an hour, but caught. Obviously no receivers wearing no gloves on these receivers tonight.
This a toss to the left side to Ryder Hooks. Cuts up field, and he's got about 6 yards on that carry. They stay ahead of the sticks on 1st down.
And I think the rain might favorably play for this Middletown defense because they are good at stopping the run. You did not see it last week against West, but those first 4 games they played great at stopping the run, and their secondary is really their weak spot on defense. So this rain making East run the ball all night, it's going to play to their advantage.
Yeah, Middletown's linebacker core definitely the head of that defense, and their D-line very good as well against the run. Empty backfield for Kittner. He steps back, fires one to McFarland. McFarland is going to walk into the end zone for East's 1st touchdown of the night.
Huge play. Already a touchdown on the board, and we talked a lot about this rain and playing in this elements and said this game might be closer than we thought. Going into this, if this was perfect weather, I'd give East this matchup in a heartbeat. No doubt in my mind East wins this one, but with the rain, it added that sort of doubt in your mind that, is this going to be a closer one? But East showing it here that this one's not going to be close. If they keep playing like this, of course, first drive, but interesting, going for 2.
Yeah, definitely expecting to see them go for 2. It's hard to kick in this heavy rain. Kitna steps back to throw, trying to find someone in the corner there, overshot Jordan Shea, and that will leave them with only 6 points on their first drive. Nonetheless, they went down and scored without any real trouble.
Well, yeah, now defense got to go out there, show what they got, get this ball back into East's hands. If they can do that, I think expect to see another Fairfield-like score in this one. Just got to see what the defense plays with, see what this Middletown offense brings to the table. They got their 2 great receivers in Maximilian Johnson and Chandler Shields. But with the rain, probably not going to throw the ball too much. So they're going to have to go to their 2 running backs. Got to see what happens. East done such a good job of stopping the run this year, haven't they?
Yeah, especially against Fairfield last week. Obviously limited their running back to less than 100 yards for the first time in their season. And might see an onside kick. We've seen it a lot from Kitna's special teams this year. They did it last week. Cole Miranda was able to pick it up, and they got free field position as a result. So always expect the unexpected from the East special teams.
And especially in the rain, hard to get that football on the receiving team. I would not be surprised to see it at least once tonight.
And we've seen A.J. Fitzstevens, the freshman kicker, really take over as the lead role. He was perfect on his extra points last week when he had to kick 7 in that massive win against Fairfield. And obviously against Princeton, special teams kind of lost them the game. Looking like they're finally getting some security in that, as here comes the kickoff, and it will be a squib right down the middle. Fielded back by Maximilian Johnson, who's trying to get the edge. He's got some room up to the 30, still going. Nobody's been able to catch him yet, and he's got a lane, and he's finally taken down at midfield. So both special teams able to start their teams with great field position.
Well, now this is going to be easier for this Middletown offense. Special teams, the ball took a while to get into the hands of the returner, but Maximilian Johnson, probably their best player, able to make space. And it's a good job catching up to him from Zion Neal.
Yeah, impressive job by Zion Neal to limit what would have been a touchdown. And, man, Maximilian Johnson is dangerous as the Middletown offense comes out there. We want to mention Jeremiah Landers, their starting quarterback. And I think you got to say pretty mediocre stats in the GMC for him. He's right middle of the road. Obviously want to see a little bit more out of him in the passing game, but in the rain it's going to be hard, and we should see them going to the run. 1st and 10 in the shotgun. Handoff up the middle there to James, and he only gets about 2 before he's wrestled down.
Well, you're going to see Graham and James, they're 2 backs all night. First one goes to James. They split snaps. They have the same amount of attempts, or basically the same amount of attempts. It's just going to come down to stopping this run game, because Middletown, they're not going to throw the ball too much tonight.
And Middletown runs a very similar offense to what you saw last week against Fairfield. No tight end listed on their roster. They love the spread offense. As a screen here to the left side, bounces off the first few defenders, and he's taken down by Gideon after a gain of about 5. Brings up a 3rd and short for Middletown.
Well, you know East loves to run the screens, and you see one there for Middletown. When you want to put the ball in the air, it's going to be screens all night. I doubt we'll see many deep balls at all. It's going to be short routes, screen passes, sustained runs. Which offense can outmatch the other offense?
And Maximilian Johnson in the backfield on this play. Handoff goes to Graham, his first carry of the night. And he's tackled, and he's got enough for the first down there, so Middletown will keep the chains moving.
Well, it seems like East knows who it's going to. You see the 2 linebackers come up there trying to make the stop. It just seems like they were shooting the wrong gaps. Running back able to pick up the first. Unfortunate, because those linebackers saw that thing all the way through, just were in the wrong place.
Yeah, Kassan Graham, a big running back, 5'10", 220. Definitely the power back out of the 2 in the Middletown backfield. Middletown kind of doing a hurry up like Fairfield did last week. Still in the shotgun, both backs out there. Landers takes the snap, handoff there to Graham once again to the right side. and he's got another 5 yards, and Middletown is moving the ball effectively on the ground right now.
Well, East had a little bit of a struggle stopping this run right now. Obviously, in these conditions, hard to get footing, but that affects both sides. But I think East does great bend but don't break defense. They're not going to expect them to just keep running this ball all the way into the end zone.
2nd and 5. Middletown working into the red zone here as Landers takes the direct snap, and he only gets about 3. It'll bring up a 3rd and about 2 yards. And Middletown will try to keep the sticks moving. They've got a good drive going right now, but East, like you said, is known to shut teams down in the red zone.
Yeah, well, I would not be surprised if Middletown, if they don't get this first down, that they would go for it. It's going to be really hard to kick field goals, and you're at the 30, so it's already tough even in perfect conditions, but would not be surprised to see them go for it on 4th down if they do not convert here.
James the lone back in the shotgun. It is a handoff. No, it's a keeper to Landers. He's got some room, and Connor Cruz is not able to make the tackle, and he's able to get into the red zone. They're at about the 18-yard line, and Middletown sniffing out their first points of the game.
Well, that could be a problem for East. The dual-threat quarterback, Jeremiah Landers, who has 212 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns, no fumbles. So good with the ball on the ground. Ball security, a big thing. Moving the ball here. See if East can play bend but don't break.
Landers with James in the backfield once again. This time it is a handoff to James, who goes right up the middle, and the East D-line is able to deal with him after a gain of about 3. And the East defense allowing about 5 yards a carry right now, and like you said, bend but don't break, but they're going to have to start stopping them here soon as they've been able to find some holes in the red zone.
Yeah, they've been able to move the ball, run it well. East got to stop that here.
James continues to be the lone back. This is a pass that is going to bounce out of the hands of Will Gibson, and we see the rain make its first appearance in the passing game as that one just slipped out of his hands.
Well, he was open on the route. Safety was crashing down on him, but just slipped right out.
Rain still coming down steadily here in the Hawks' Nest. Some fans were able to brave it out, come in, but this is a pretty empty stadium here as these conditions are not ideal for watching football.
You got to wonder if that might affect East's ability to get really hype and play in this game with the ferociousness that they normally bring if there's no fans here to hype them up.
Going to have to rely on that East sideline to get themselves hyped up. As in the shotgun with James the lone back once again, this an option to the left, and Landers just wasn't able to pitch it out as he is swallowed up. We'll bring up a 4th down, and like you said, the East bend don't break works again, and out comes the field goal unit for the first time tonight.
Well, that is a huge stop for East, keeping this out of a tie game and possibly not a lead anymore. If this ends up 6-3, East offense getting the ball back. Got to like their chances of moving the ball downfield based on what we saw in the first drive.
Yeah, East eager to come back out on offense. Noah Nicholas, the kicker for Middletown. He's a junior. He's perfect. 2 for 2 on field goals this year. This one is up, and I believe, yeah, it is good. Through the uprights, so we have a 6-3 game here. And it looks like we might get more fight out of Middletown than we originally thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, Middletown was shut down last week against West. They only could put up 7 points, and against this East defense who has played, like I said, great all year, stopping the run, forcing pressure on the quarterback. They have 14.5 sacks, and they didn't have a single one against Fairfield. So 14.5 sacks in 4 games is incredible considering they only had 5 last year. But solid drive from Middletown, putting points on the board. Now East has to respond.
East definitely looking to respond after failing the 2-point conversion. They're now only up by a field goal. Nicholas looks to kick it away after he just made that field goal. That makes him 3 for 3 on the year. And it will be interesting to see if East continues to throw the ball. They were very brave with it that first drive, had no real trouble getting it downfield.
Well, yeah, you hit Chris Boyer and you hit P.J. McFarland, your 2 young receivers. And it worked. Got into the end zone. See if they go back to it here. Maybe another big return.
This one fielded by Carter Jones, who gets to the right side. He's got room. He might get past the kicker. A good block there on the edge. Another good block. He could go all the way to the 5, and he's in. Oh, my goodness. A kickoff return touchdown, and Carter Jones goes the distance.
And 3 for 3 on big returns. East, big return, gets to the 50. Middletown, up to the 45. East, touchdown for Carter Jones. Like I said, special teams going to have to win this one. And right there, East with their first kick return touchdown of the year to Carter Jones. What a run. What a block. I don't know who that was, but that was an incredible block to get him space. And wow, what a turn of events for East.
Yeah, I believe Derek Williams was one of the guys that threw one of those blocks. But yeah, that credit to that return team, as the 2-point conversion is a try to the corner of the end zone, and McFarland not able to grab it there. The throw was on target, but it bobbled out of his hands. So East is now up 12-3, and no need for that offense as that special team's got it done.
Yeah, McFarland's not going to be happy with that one, but had the touchdown earlier. He's going to have more big plays tonight. But now Middletown's offense is back out there, and they have to score again.
And another factor, it looks like from here on the lights, looks like this rain has picked up again. Should limit any passing from Middletown. I believe this is the heaviest we've seen it since the game has started. And, man, like you said earlier, special teams looks like it's the key to this game.
Yeah, and now with the rain, it's just going to come down to East defense stopping that run. Struggled with it in the first drive, but they did start with the ball on the 45. Have to try and get better field position here on the kick. It's going to be tough with these wet conditions. Hard to run down the field at full speed. Hard to get in your top gear, but going to have to do something to keep them at least not get to the 50.
So Fitzstevens will line up to kick it away. Middletown will try to answer back with a kick return of their own. This one a high kick. Fielded at about the 25, not wanting to give Shields a chance to return it. And Coleman is taken down after he gets about 3 on the return. So Middletown will start at about the 28-yard line.
And now they're going to have to fight on this drive. That was the first return that didn't go past the 50. And obviously Maximilian Johnson didn't get a single reception on that first drive. Running the ball, it worked, but they could not make it into the end zone. Forced to take the field goal. Got to see East is hungry for a stop here.
Middletown still in that spread formation on offense. Shields and Johnson out wide. Ref adjusts the ball once again. So 1st and 10 for the Middies offense. Not as good a field position as they had last drive. They'll try to get all the way down into the end zone on this one. James still the lone back. This is a screen pass to the right side. It's caught, and he gets about 5 before he's taken down. The ball came out at the end of that play, but he was down.
Well, the only time they're throwing the ball is from those screen passes, and East able to stop them there. Still picked up a solid amount of yards, but as long as East can hold them to less than 5 yards a play, that'll be huge.
Yeah, Middletown still trying to get those talented receivers involved early in this game. Got to get the ball into the hands of your best guys somehow. Landers takes the snap, fakes the handoff, fires it over the middle. Maximilian Johnson's first catch of the game, and he's explosive. He's down to the 30, the 20, and Anderson's able to bring him down at the 10. What a catch by Shields over the middle.
Wow, I thought he was going to be gone, but what a tackle from Anderson, saving the touchdown. This rain has not been very nice to these defenses, has it?
No, we've had chunk play after chunk play in this game, and
obviously,
see right there, Maximilian Johnson, 3-star receiver, showing what he can do in the open field.
It's going to be much more of a high-scoring game than we anticipated. Definitely not what I anticipated, but when you got a receiver like Maximilian Johnson, you got to give it into his hands. The huge speed, but game-saving, touchdown-saving tackle, that was huge.
So now inside the red zone at about the 10. This a handoff to James, who fights forward and gets the ball inside the 5, still pushing. And he was stopped after a gain of about 5 there. 2nd and goal.
Wouldn't be shocked to see them go run down here in the red zone. And East has played great goal line defense against the run. They were able to stop Princeton when it came down to this goal line. So Middletown obviously having that back of their minds that maybe is not going to be able to run the ball right into the end zone.
James and Vaughn, the linebacker, in at running back, and he will get his first carry of the game, trying to power through the middle. Still getting pushed. And he's in, a touchdown! Credit to those Middletown linemen for pushing him all the way in.
Well, I will take back what I just said. He was able to just walk in the end zone, obviously having help from that O-line. And this one, most points we've seen in the first quarter all year. East still having the lead. This one is not what we expected at all.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a back and forth game on our hands. Noah Nicholas will try to put the extra point up for Middletown. And it is blocked by East. The ball's still alive. And it's called dead by the officials. So it stays a 3-point game. Heads up play by the special teams of East to limit them from getting within 2.
What a block from Nick Miller. That is huge. Keeping this field goal ties it, but the way special teams is playing, East offense playing, trying to put another touchdown here on this board.
Yeah, Nick Miller started the season as a starting corner. Has had a little bit of misfortune, but there makes a big play on the extra point. 2 minutes left in this first quarter. And once again, East has to answer back with points, see if they get another return touchdown.
Middletown special teams going to have to try something different. I mean, you allowed the huge return at the start, getting to the 50, and then you obviously allowed the return touchdown. Maybe they try a different kind of kick here. But wherever they ran those first 2 tries did not work. Got to switch it up here.
And I think a big difference to East return team than you see from some other high school teams in the GMC is they've got 4 competent returners back there. Obviously, Zion Neal is back there as the main returner, but you also have Thurman, the backup running back, Carter Jones, and Chauncey Peck are the next guys up. So even if you kick a short one, still got to watch out for those guys returning it all the way, and we saw it on that last kickoff.
And it's such a dangerous thing that East has. Those 4 guys can all return it well. Let's see what happens here.
So the kick underway. This one going to go deep. Thurman will field it. Takes it. Thought about a knee, but he was already out. He's now got some room to make up. He goes airborne, and he's taken down at about the 18-yard line. Able to make something out of a pretty good kick there by Middletown, and East will start at about the 18-yard line.
I think he might have hesitated a little bit, thought it might be a touchback, but this is going to be the worst field position for East they've seen, and it's still only the first quarter, but see what really their offense is made of.
So East offense will march out there again. They weren't needed on that last drive as obviously special teams took care of it and got them 6 points. But now it's up to Kitna and that offense to put more points on the board. Kitna under center. Motions McFarland and the handoff to Ryder Hooks on the left. But that Middletown team sniffed it out and he was taken down in the backfield for a loss of about 4.
Well, this is something we haven't seen all year. Ryder Hooks not being able to run the ball well. I mean, Middletown linebackers are just getting on him in a second. Going to have to switch up the game plan here. I mean, the passes have been working, getting us 2 for 2. Obviously, having the touchdown, but the run game being stuffed right now by Middletown.
Yeah, and you wonder if it's just hard to get any grip on this turf if you're really trying to plant and cut at the running back position. A toss to the right side to Hooks. And once again, Middletown able to sniff it out in the backfield. He's taken down at about the 10-yard line, and East is faced with a 3rd and long.
Yeah, well, now it's definitely a pass situation. Got to contain Kidney. He had the huge run on 4th down, but with this 3rd down and 14, you got to put the ball in the air or just try something for a big play, and then we might see the first punt of the night.
So it's 3rd and 15 from East's own 10-yard line. Kitna motions McFarland. Fakes the handoff, steps back, rolling out right. And that one just slipped out of Kitna's hand. I believe his arm was moving forward, but they are ruling it a live ball. There's a pileup. And ref signaling that East was able to jump back on it. Some confusion here. And Middletown looks like they came away with the ball. I thought Kitna's arm was moving forward, but I guess that was a live fumble, and now Middletown is set up with prime field position to answer back.
Well, it definitely looked like his arm was moving forward, but like you said, they're going to call it a fumble, and now East defense got to go out here and get a stop.
And John and JT Kitna yelling at that ref down there. They believe that was an incomplete pass. Surprised they called that one live, but nonetheless, Middletown now has a chance to take the lead with about 27 seconds left in the first quarter. First fumble of the night. We predicted to see some, and right there we saw it.
I just couldn't get a grip on the ball in this rainy weather. It's going to be hard to do when you get in those obvious passing situations. That's going to happen.
So Landers lines up with Johnson and Dimitri and James in the backfield. A timeout is called by Middletown. We'll step away for just a second. Welcome back to the Hawks Nest. 27 seconds left in the first quarter. Middletown coming onto the field after what was called a fumble on JT Kitna. They're inside the red zone, looking to take the lead for the first time tonight. Maximilian Johnson and Dimitri and James in the backfield with Jeremiah Landers. Takes the snap, hands it off up the middle. A big hole for Maximilian Johnson, but he was swarmed there after a gain of about 5. Second down.
Well, that timeout, probably huge for East just to get regrouped on defense. Obviously, you thought it was definitely an incomplete pass and not a fumble, but just giving them a chance to say, hey, let's go out here, let's get a stop, let's force a probable field goal. With this rain, maybe they won't make it or go for it, but just got to go out here, get a stop. Can't let Middletown tie this game or possibly take the lead.
So with that, we will take another quick break as the quarter has come to an end. We welcome you back for the start of the second quarter. Flipping sides of the field. Rain still coming down steadily in the Hawks Nest. And Middletown is at the 10-yard line. They've got a 2nd and 5. And after that fumble by Kitna, they are looking to take the lead.
Well, not quite sure. Maybe some confusion here, but Middletown obviously going for the lead here. East defense got to step up, make some plays. They've been so good all year, but this rain, maybe them getting them a little bit off track. They've allowed big runs. They've allowed big plays. You see the huge one to Maximilian Johnson. Just got to get settled in, play the defense that they've been playing all year, and get some stops.
Haven't seen Kassan Graham since towards the beginning of the first quarter. Demetrian James and Jordan Vaughn, the two running backs out there right now. Landers takes the snap, blitz coming. And Harrington trying to chase down Landers. He's able to get away from one, but Cohen Reap and Connor Cruz take care of it on the right side, and now it's 3rd and 11.
Wow, that was a huge play. Nowhere to go on that one. Cohen Reap, first big play of the game. And now, if you're Middletown, you got to go for the pass here. I mean, 3rd and 11 in this situation. Or could go for the run. It's been working for you all night. Maybe get a couple yards, go for it on 4th down. Either way, East defense got to step up here.
Yeah, really no telling what they're going to do here. Expect them to go for it on 4th down if they don't get it. I believe the rain has picked up again since it slowed down earlier, about halfway through the first quarter. Passing going to be tricky as Landers lines up with James in the backfield. Fake handoff. Firing 1-2. Johnson, that's intercepted there. And Connor Cruz has got some room. They're going to mark him down, but nonetheless,
I do
an
believe his
impressive
forearms
pick.
are down. I do believe his forearms are down, but what an interception. And East back on offense. That's his 3rd pick this year. He's had all the interceptions, and he's fired up right now. And this East offense ready to go out there and move that ball.
And Connor Cruz, the senior free safety, has really stepped up since last season. Obviously, like you said, leading the team in interceptions, back-to-back weeks with an interception. And, man, way to go by that East defense to limit the damage from that turnover by the offense just moments ago.
Well, it looked like a little bit of a miscommunication. Receiver wasn't even looking for the ball. Maybe a bad throw, but what a way to get his hands under that football and make that catch. That is huge, especially in the rain.
So East will start. They are pretty backed up after the interception was made at about the 4-yard line. East going to have to be careful this far back. Looks like a RPO here. It's going to be a handoff up the middle. Chauncey Peck's first run of the game and a big hole. He's able to get all the way up to the 20-yard line. Impressive run.
Well, I said it last week with Ryder Hooks being out with that injury in those first couple weeks. Chauncey Peck really stepped up and led this run game, and his snaps have been less than they were in the first couple games. Obviously, Ryder Hooks returning, one of the better running backs in the GMC. But his first run there, huge one, 11 yards. That was big.
And I know we've mentioned the weather a lot in this game, but it is a factor. The rain is picking up even more now. Surprised. Will be surprising to see if East throws the ball on this drive. Single back formation as Kitna hands it off. No, he takes it. Rolls out left, finds McFarland in the flat. McFarland's got Tillman on him, and he is taken down, but a huge gain. Close to the 1st down marker. I think it'll be about 3rd and 1.
Well, McFarland had the touchdown last week off of that flat route where he just walked right into the end zone, and that was big. That was big for East last week, and he had 4 catches, about 30 yards, had that touchdown, of course. Big one there. That flat route's so good to McFarland every time. It seems to be wide open.
And impressive. East still throwing the ball in this heavy rain. In the shotgun once again, motions McFarland. Kitna fakes the handoff, steps back. Loads one up, far down the right side, and that one's just overthrown, I believe, trying to get it to Zion Neal down the right side. Airing one out there, and it'll bring up a 4th and 1. Interesting to see them take a shot like that on 3rd down.
Yeah, especially when you had the huge run from Chauncey Peck already, just trying to catch them off guard, but it's hard to connect on those throws in this rain, and coverage was really great downfield.
East running the hurry up here. Kitna hands it off. I believe Carter Jones has it up the middle, and the East pile was able to push him for enough for a new set of downs.
Well, this is big. This is good. Last drive, you saw they didn't move the ball at all. Had the 2 runs that went nowhere in the fumble. Just getting into that groove now where they're able to run the ball, pass the ball, just trying to do what they do on offense and seeing it here.
Kitna still in the shotgun, hands it off to Ryder Hooks, who's able to get a few yards there. 2nd and 5 coming up as a result.
Ryder Hooks, probably his best run of the night there. He's been stopped in the backfield a lot, but trying to get him in space. Give enough carries, he'll break a couple of those for big yardage.
And East is really hurrying up here in the 2nd quarter, trying to get Middletown tired. There's a screen pass to Ryder Hooks, and he is taken down. A big tackle there by Tillis. in the middle, stops him in his tracks.
We've Kitna tried to look downfield there, but went with the screen, tackled, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 4. Wonder if they'll run, pass, really could do anything here.
Yeah, it's 3rd and about 3. Ryder Hooks did sub out here, and it looks like an empty backfield. Carter Jones is out there. He is a wide receiver running back hybrid for this East offense, so he might see a motion into the backfield.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a screen.
Kitna steps back and finds Jones in the flat. A good catch by him, absorbing the hit on the right side, but he's got enough for a first down.
Well, that was a huge hit there, but Carter Jones able to hang on to the football. That is big. Move the chains. That's all you got to do in this weather. You just got to move the chains, keep moving the ball downfield. Do not go 3 and out. Avoid throwing the incompletions and interceptions. You see Middletown, they have thrown a lot of picks this year. Another one there to Connor Cruz, but East just playing smart with the football, not doing too much, moving the ball downfield.
Kitna's back under center. Ryder Hooks is back in the game, and he gets the handoff up the middle, and he is swallowed up there. That time Chambers came through and blew him up before you could get going.
I think offensive line having just a little bit of trouble in this rain because Ryder Hooks rarely gets hit in the backfield, and when he does, he's almost always to break out of it, but obviously you see the rain playing big impacts here in this game.
Yeah, and this Middletown defense, like you said earlier, is pretty stout against the run. They were kind of shocked by West's read option last week, but they've kind of locked down on Ryder Hooks this game. Kitna steps back out of being under center, fires one to McFarland, who's got it deep, a gain of about 40, and he's inside the 30-yard line.
Well, P.J. McFarland has really hit his stride in this offense. You saw him get more targets last week. He had the touchdown in the first game, and since then he didn't see as many receptions the next couple games, but last game had the huge touchdown. In here, they're getting him the ball a lot. Already 3 catches, one of them a touchdown, and now getting close to that red zone.
And this has been a long and productive drive by the East offense. Staying ahead of the sticks. Run game been stopped a few times, but other than that, everything's been working. The RPO, handoff to Chauncey Peck up the middle again. He's got room, cuts it back inside, open lane to the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown East. They're going up 18-9 in this one.
I believe that'll be Chauncey Peck's first touchdown since his 98-yard run at Mason. What a huge drive from this East offense. Chauncey Peck just with a huge burst of speed getting into the end zone. And now it's been amazing to watch East always forcing Middletown to score. The only drive they've been stopped was in they had the fumble that honestly should have been an incomplete pass, but even then got the interception off of it. East is doing a good job moving the ball, and this rain has not affected their passing game at all, has it?
Not at all. Kitna not been scared to throw the ball whatsoever. And the weather has been getting worse, so it's surprising to see. Fitzstevens comes out for his first extra point try of the night, and it's good. So East will go up by 10 points here. And on that touchdown run, Chauncey Peck, you saw it. Great vision by him to cut back inside. He really just found the open lane.
He's obviously faster than he was last year. I mean, you saw 98-yard run against Mason where he just outran everybody in there. Just nothing Middletown could do. Couldn't even get an arm on him as he ran up that field. And now it's a 2-score ball game. What a huge drive from Lakota East.
Yeah, Chauncey Peck, one of those running backs that if he can get into open space, he turns on the afterburners, and he's hard to stop. So, East kickoff team will come out. Middletown will have to answer now. They're down by 2 scores for the first time tonight. And after everything worked for them on offense on that last drive where they were gifted free field position, an interception cost them points.
Well, yeah, going to have to go out there and make another big stop. Saw the interception. Going to have to try and force a turnover again because Middletown has really been able to move the ball downfield as they want. Going to have to capitalize off those turnovers.
Fitzstevens looks ready to kick it away. East special teams has been pretty on it since that 50-yard return on the first kickoff. This one launched deep. Fielded at about the 1. A pretty perfect kickoff there. And Johnson going to be forced to take it out, but he's able to find a hole. He's still up, and he's finally taken down about 10 yards short of midfield. And, man, Maximilian Johnson is a dangerous returner.
Yeah, that is 2 returns now that have gone up over 30 yards for him. And he is just something really special back there. 3-star wide receiver, leads the team in receiving yards. Well, tied with Chandler Shields, but not after his catch he had in this game. But he's dangerous out there.
Yeah, Middletown definitely has weapons in the pass game. Obviously, Shields and Johnson both have D1 offers, and you see why. Both very explosive players. Shields been unable to really get the ball so far in this one. As Landers takes the snap, hands it off up the middle, and James gets about 2 before he is tackled by, I believe, the entire East defense.
Well, they've got to stop this run game. This run game has been moving the ball all over them. Got to crash down on those linemen. Got to exploit the young offensive line that they have. They have only 1 senior on their offensive line. The rest are sophomores and juniors. Got to try and exploit that here. Do not let them run this ball how they want to.
Landers in the shotgun, steps back, fires one there that was just right through the hands of Joseph Ward on the screen pass. 3rd down and 8 coming up as a result.
Well, just a low pass there. Couldn't get his hands on the ball. Now it's 3rd down and 8. Now you got to draw up something to pick up this 1st down. East, big play here for the defense.
So 3rd down and 8. East showing blitz. Middletown steps back. Looks like they'll pass. Pressure coming. Harrington trying to get him on the left side, but Landers takes off, and he's finally stopped and pushed out of bounds after a gain of about 12, and he'll move the sticks for Middletown.
Well, that's the danger with having that dual threat quarterback, that he can turn a broken pass play into a 1st down just running the ball, and East has struggled with stopping those QB runs, especially when they're not designed, when it's just a pass play that nobody's really open. Coverage is great. The quarterbacks have seemed to be able to just move around and pick up that big 1st down. Picked it up there on 3rd and 8.
Parker Elam, the DN, subs in, wearing number 20 this week instead of 55. He's playing both ways. As there's a screen pass to Maximilian Johnson, and it was sniffed out there. Looked like Bryant got to him first. And it brings up a 2nd and 10.
Nowhere to go on that one. He's trying to stop whatever Middletown's doing right now, because they have been moving the ball well. I have been shocked. I mean, against Fairfield, you saw on only a couple drives where Fairfield was able to do anything on offense. Every other attempt, they just either went 3 and out, or you saw the pick 6 from Connor Cruz. Just, he's going to have to stop him here.
So 2nd and 10. Landers takes the snap, fires one out left. Shields gets his first catch of the game. Makes the first corner miss, but he's able to swallow him by the legs, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 2. Good catch by Shields, gets his first reception of the game.
Well, with these elements, we have seen them throwing the ball, but if it was perfect weather, you would see Chandler Shields and Maximilian Johnson getting the ball thrown to them a lot more, and it's definitely beneficial to this East defense that it's raining, that they're not going to throw the ball as much to them, because they are just 2 dangerous receivers that can really change a game. But now East got to try and stop this run here in this weather.
3rd down and 2. It's a handoff to James. He is met in the hole, but he bounces off of Cohen Reap, and he had a hole. He was finally taken down by Connor Cruz in the secondary. Rare to see someone get out of Cohen Reap's tackle, but Demetrius James was able to do it.
A shock there. Reap didn't make the play, but was there, slowed him down. Good job from Connor Cruz catching up to him, saving the touchdown. And I mean, this rain is really, when you have a rain game, you expect offenses to struggle a lot, but really all this rain is doing is affecting these defenses.
Yeah, and clearly both teams prepping well for the weather on offense, as they've both been able to run pretty much their regular offense minus the deep balls. As a 1st and 10 for Landers, fires one again out to Shields. He's taken down by Chetnia after a gain of about 6. And like you mentioned, these 2 receivers are the key to that Middletown offense, and I like to think, kind of relating them to the Bengals, Chandler Shields, the taller T. Higgins type, and Maximilian Johnson, kind of the Jamar Chase out there for Middletown's offense.
Maximilian Johnson on his first catch looked like Jamar Chase, just getting in the middle of the field and almost outrunning everybody. Luckily, he was tackled, but like you said, they are dangerous out there at receiver.
This is a handoff to James up the middle. He's got enough for the 1st down, and DJ Stanley was able to stop him before he could get anywhere else. New set of downs coming from Middletown, and they are driving the ball down the field inside the red zone.
Well, with time ticking away, 3 minutes 52 seconds on the clock, maybe for Middletown you don't want to score quickly here, because then you're going to give East the chance to go down the field themselves and put up more points before halftime. But trying to punch it into the end zone here.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Middletown looking to convert in the red zone this time, not turn the ball over. Landers hands it off to James once again, and he continues to average about 5 yards a carry as he's got another 5 to set up a 2nd down and 5.
Well, East does a really great job of stopping like big name running backs. Like they held Tyler George to just 97 yards on about, I think, 20 attempts. But right now, Middletown's run game not being slowed down at all.
Going hurry up here on 2nd and 5, fakes the handoff, screen out to Johnson. He's swallowed up after a gain of only about 1, brings up 3rd and 3. And East defense continues to really show up inside the red zone as compared to the middle of the field.
Yeah, well, I know we've said it a couple times, but do not be shocked if Middletown does not pick this up here and goes for it on 4th down. They had the blocked field goal earlier, trying to avoid having to put the ball to your kicker.
3rd and 3 inside the red zone. Middletown looking to continue the drive. This a keeper by Landers, who tries to push forward for the 1st down. And it looked like from here he's about a yard short. So 4th down and about a yard coming as a result. And the East defense will take a timeout as there's about 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the 2nd quarter, and we'll step away for just a moment. Third down and 2. Lander steps back, fires it out to the left, and Graham, or Vaughn, was not allowed to able to get the 1st down, and that should be a turnover on downs, and East offense will get a chance again. Once again, that East defense bending but not breaking.
Yeah, that was 4th down, not 3rd down. We apologize for the mic troubles.
We welcome you back. Carson Schroyer, the linebacker that was banged up, and we apologize for any audio difficulties. Had a little bit of technical troubles up here, but we should be good now. 1st and 10 East got the ball back after the turnover on downs, and Ryder Hooks was able to get through the first wave of tacklers before he was brought down for a gain of about 4 yards.
And going back to that fourth down, like you said, Max, East, great job playing bend but don't break defense. Had the interception in the red zone, and now you get the turnover on downs. East was able to march right down the field. Last time they had it back in the red zone of Middletown, but see if they do it again here. Big run on the first drive, 6-yard run from Ryder Hooks. He's hitting his stride.
Rain still heavy here at the end of the first half. 2nd and 4. Kitna's in the shotgun. Looks like he tried to get Middletown to jump. Takes the snap. It's way over Kitna's head. It's in the end zone, and Kitna is just going to fire that one out of bounds and out of harm's way. A dangerous play there. Second errant snap we've seen in this one.
Well, this is something we haven't seen all year except for here and against Fairfield. I'm not sure what's going on with the center. Timing might be a bit off, but Kitna, every time that's happened, though, he's been able to scoop the ball up and chuck it out of harm's way, which has been very beneficial. Taken from what almost could have been a safety if someone else was back there into just a loss of a down.
Yeah, good work there by Kitna limiting the damage. It does bring up a 3rd and 4. 1:23 left in the second quarter. Kitna changing the play, moves under center. Motions McFarland, steps back. He'll find McFarland in the flat, and he's able to bring it in on the sideline, and he's got enough for the first down and a little bit more.
Well, P.J. McFarland and Jaden Say, two guys that every time the ball is thrown their way, it's always a huge play. And picking up that 3rd down here, P.J. McFarland's is having an incredible night. But time is ticking, just 1:15. East only has 2 timeouts, and they're only at the 23. How to try to move this ball quicker.
Clock running down below 1:10. Kitna under center. Motions almost all of that line. They're in a jumbo package right now. 2 tight ends out there. Ryder Hooks gets the handoff to the left, tries to cut back inside, and he's brought down there by Chambers in the middle. Clock continues to tick, and I believe East is just trying to run out this first half.
Well, maybe trying to throw in a run that maybe could break for a huge play, but not trying to throw the ball too far downfield, trying to avoid, don't want to throw an interception. I think they're playing smart, just they are running the ball instead of kneeling in the hopes that one of these just breaks through for a big yards.
And mentioning big yards, Chauncey Peck is back out there. He had the big touchdown run earlier, and obviously the 98-yard touchdown run against Mason. So if anyone could break away for a big run, it's Chauncey Peck in the backfield. Ryder Hooks and Peck line up alongside Kitna. 12 seconds left in the first half, and timeout taken. We'll step away for just a moment. Seconds left in the second half after the timeout. See what East does for what should be the last play of the half out in the jumbo package. It's a handoff to Ryder Hooks, who tries to find a hole. He does get one at about 9 yards, but time will run out in the first half, and both teams will take the trip to the locker room. We'll see you back for the second half of football. Stick around. Welcome back to the Hawks Nest for the second half. Rain has completely stopped here in this one. Should have a dry second half of football, and we've had a very interesting first half, to say the least. I mean, both teams have been pretty effective on offense.
Yeah, but what I have seen and what I'm the most pleased with is 0 penalties. I mean, they had the one on the first kickoff, but since then, nothing. That is good. I hate penalties personally. When they're not blatant, then it's just terrible to watch. And East has had some troubles with penalties this year, but 0 penalties for East. That's been cool to watch. And in a game like this where they're running the ball constantly, you expect to see some holding calls, but none. But with the rain stopping, I'm expecting East's defense to really play bigger and badder than they did in that first half. They averaged pretty large. They averaged they let Middletown average a bunch of rushing yards on them. Like, they were getting 5 yards a carry to different running backs. It was tough to watch. They did play great red zone defense. That was awesome. Bend but don't break, but just with the no rain, their footing's going to be down. It's going to be better. They're going to stop the runs, and that's what I'm expecting in this East offense. With no rain, they're going to be at full force. Nothing's going to stop this East offense. It just comes down to the defense getting some stops.
And I think a very interesting stat line in this one as well is time of possession. Middletown actually winning the possession battle right now, 12 minutes to 10 minutes. But I think it's really come down to East's red zone defense. Obviously, a turnover in the red zone on an interception and then a turnover on downs. East, like we've said a lot, has been bend, don't break on defense. And it's really the whole reason that Middletown is stuck at 9 points. They've had chances to score touchdowns. They've got their players involved. Maximilian Johnson and Chandler Shields have had the ball a few times, but that East defense has just been stout close to the goal line.
Especially down, like you said, in the red zone, they've stopped Middletown's drives and said the interception, the turnover on downs, and if you're Middletown, you expect to have more points on this board than you do right now. You get the ball to start the second half. Obviously, want to go down, score a touchdown, but East defense want to step up and don't let them get to the red zone. Stop them before they even get to the red zone.
And a weird stat as well, as far as running backs for Middletown go, we usually see Kassan Graham and Demetrian James kind of splitting snaps 50-50. And we kind of accepted to see Kassan Graham more in this one as he is the bigger running back, but he's only had a couple carries. And it's really been Demetrian James leading the backfield. We wonder if Kassan Graham might be a little bit banged up on the Middletown side of the ball.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there. I don't even see him on this rushing list. But I think the biggest moment in this game, the biggest storyline is Ryder Hooks just averaging 2.4 yards a carry. I mean, he has run over everybody he's faced. He's never seen something like this where he's just not been able to go anywhere. 9 carries for only 22 yards. They've had to rely on Chauncey Peck to get those yards. He had the big touchdown run in the red zone. That was huge. But, yeah, just Ryder Hooks not really hitting his stride in this one.
Yeah, really not been able to find too many open lanes, and East really been able to do it through the air and with Chauncey Peck. 2 guys on that East offense that are really carrying this team right now. P.J. McFarland, the tight end, who's really stepped up in the last few weeks, and obviously Chauncey Peck has got his first touchdown since his 98-yarder against Mason. Middletown does get the ball to start this second half. They'll look to score and make it a 1-possession game. Haven't really executed too well on offense since the first quarter. They've obviously been able to drive down the field, but then they get that 20-yard line, and that East defense just becomes kind of a different animal close to the goal line like we talked about. Kickoff coming, and it's a high kick that Maximilian Johnson will take. He's had a couple big returns. He's to the right side. He's got some blocks. He's going to cut up the right side. Is anyone going to catch him? It looks like Connor Cruz will finally be able to take him down after he gets to about the 38-yard line on east side of the field.
And both return teams just dominating tonight. No kicking team really has an answer to stop it. Maximilian Johnson has some huge returns. They got to stop kicking the ball to him on kickoffs. But that is just, and now Middletown set up with great field position again. And East, it's going to be hard to keep them out of this red zone area.
Yeah, and like you said, both return teams, obviously East had the return touchdown from Carter Jones in the first half, and Maximilian Johnson had a couple big returns in the first half. Special teams have played a key part in this game. It's 1st and 10 from about the 40-yard line. Jeremiah Landers will take his first snap of the second half. It's a handoff to Demetrian James up the middle. He gets about 2 before he's swallowed up. And really a rare stop on Demetrian James. He's been pretty good at averaging about 5 or 6 yards a carry in the first half.
I believe that's Parker Elam there. He changed his number to 20. And like I said, East just got to stop this run game. Through the air, they haven't really gotten torched. The receptions on these receivers are down. Obviously, Maximilian Johnson having a huge play. But if they're able to stop this run, Middletown's going to have a hard time moving the ball.
2nd down and 8. Lander steps back, fires one out deep. I think he was trying to get Maximilian Johnson. No flag. I think just miscommunication. Saw it earlier in the first half, of miscommunication that led to the interception for Connor Cruz. And that time, again, just these receivers not on the same page as the quarterback.
Yeah, well, contact or not, that ball was well overthrown. And now it's going to be 3rd and 10. So you had the return, and now East defense not letting them move the ball at all, keeping them out of the red zone. But you got to contain the quarterback run here. I mean, you saw earlier on the 3rd and 8 in the first half, he was able to scramble out, get the first down. Got to stop that here. Don't let him run.
Landers back in the shotgun for 3rd and 10. That was the first time they've really aired it out deep in this game. He steps back again. He'll step up in the pocket. He tried to get it out and almost intercepted there.
Whoa.
Makai Johnson almost got the pick. He had open room in front of him.
Oh.
And that's a Middletown player down. I believe Jeremiah Landers got hit pretty hard on that play. We'll step away as the training staff gets a chance to look at him. We welcome you back. Landers shaken up after that play, but he was able to walk off on his own power. Jaston Bourne coming in at quarterback now. It is a punt, though, as that was a 3rd down stop. That was almost picked off. First punt of the game for either team. Middletown was trying to jump on it, but it ends up in the end zone. So East will come out on offense for the second time, the first time in the second half.
They almost pulled that one back, got it at the 1, but even if it was out of the 1, I wouldn't worry. We have Chauncey Peck. He would have just broken his record again. But, I mean, even though he would have done that, good thing this ball's at the 20 and not the 1.
And while this East offense runs out there, forgot to mention coming out of halftime, an interesting development around the GMC. Princeton versus Hamilton, a game that I think everyone was expecting Princeton to win in a blowout. Princeton obviously currently top of the GMC, beat East by only a field goal. They are currently down 27-0 against Hamilton, and if they end up losing this game, East could win the GMC as Zion Neal's got a lot of room down the left side. A 15-yard gain on his first carry of the night, and he has East with a fresh set of downs.
Well, when Zion Neal has open space, he can be dangerous. Saw it there, just hitting that top speed, running up the field. I think Middletown's lucky they were able to push him out of bounds. He runs track. He is just so fast down the field. He can run past anybody.
I think Middletown really wanted to score on that last drive because if East can score on this one, they've got a pretty firm grip on the game, and it's hard to come back against this East defense. Kittner rolls out right, fires one to Derek Williams, and he's just not able to grab that one out of the hands.
Well, first time that McFarland's flat route was really covered. They're obviously trying to account for him. He had a huge first half, 4 catches, 53 yards, and a touchdown. So accounting for him, had to throw the ball downfield. Hard catch to make, but got to shake it off. It's still 2nd down.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Kittner still in the shotgun. He's trying to open things up on offense here in the second half. Kittner steps back again. He's going to fire one out to the left side. A lot of contact, but the refs will let it play. Incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 10.
A lot of contact on this one, and honestly, I'm shocked no pass interference was called, but Still no penalties on this game, but now it's 3rd and 10. Got a call on Kitna. Move the ball downfield. You saw him scramble a couple times, picking up a first down, but don't want to punt here. Give this ball back to Middletown.
Yeah, and I think these refs just kind of trying to let the game play out. There was a Middletown pass deep that had a little bit of contact as well. The refs kind of let it play, trying to keep themselves out of this one as Kitna steps back on 3rd and 10, trying to evade the Middletown rushers. He's able to get about 6 yards, but it's not enough for the first down. They're at about the 42-yard line, a spot of the field where they like to go for it, so we should see East offense stay out on the field.
Yep, and they're going to run hurry up here. Not surprised at all. Might try to get them on the hard count, but with short field positions, I would not be shocked to see them hike this either.
Hurry up offense. Getting emotions. McFarland up to the line and not going to call it. The ref's still letting it play. So now 4th and 4. Should see an actual snap here. Kitna hands it off to Peck. He's got a hold on the left side. He's got room. And a big run there by Chauncey Peck gives them a free set of downs. Actually, I believe that was Zion Neal on the carry.
Well, that was huge. 4th down and 3. Thought he might have got hit at the line and stuffed, but just bounced it out. Picks up the first down, and East keeps on marching.
And that was Zion Neal. So his second carry of this drive, another big one, gives the East another set of downs. They are moving the ball effectively right now. Back in that shotgun. Kitna looks comfortable in the second half. Another handoff to Zion Neal. And that time, though, nothing doing, and he only gets about a yard.
Well, the first time he's been stopped on the ground, just trying to get that fast wide receiver involved. I think he's going to check out here, but obviously changes have been made for this Middletown defense. They're taking account P.J. McFarland, not letting him get open. Stuffed Zion Neal there, but see what else East has cooked up.
2nd and 10. Carter Jones goes in motion to the right side. Kitna steps back. Pump fakes. Does air it out to Ryder Hooks. Had the ball in his hands, but it bounced out. Incomplete. Brings up a 3rd and 10. And now East kind of got their backs against the wall on this set of downs.
That would have been a big play if they had connected there, but unfortunately just a little too high. Had to jump for it. Could not bring it in. Another big 3rd down here.
East continues to kind of run a semi-hurry-up, trying to get Middletown tired out here early in the second half as Kitna steps back on 3rd and 10. Trying to find somebody. Pressure is coming. Trying to get away from the Middletown linebackers, and a big sack there by Marion Bryant. His first sack of the night, and that brings up a 4th and very long for East, and we shouldn't see them go for it unless they're feeling very aggressive.
Well, I think Coach Kitna motioned him to stay out on the field, and I think they are feeling aggressive. Maybe just trying to get more yards in a hard count.
A lot of confidence in the East defense if they do go for it here. We've seen Kitna fake a normal play and step back and punt it, and that is what's going to happen here. A good boot by Kitna, and a nice roll. The bounce going to go down at about the 6-yard line. Not sure why the East player downed it that early, but nonetheless, they are backed up inside the 10, and now Middletown's got a long field to go.
Well, what a punt that was from Kitna. That might be the longest of the year. That was smart. Did not expect that one. I mean, you said they've done it a couple times, or they've had it, but every time Kitna has done that, it's been when they're past the 50, closer to the red zone, trying to pin them deep, but he pins them deep when they were at the 40 on their own side of the field.
Yeah,
That was huge.
Already got offers at quarterback, already committed to UAB, but maybe might be getting some offers in that mailbox at punter after that one. Middletown really backed up against their old goal line now, and they've got 94 yards to go if they want a touchdown on this drive.
Tall task ahead of them.
Landers is back out there after he went out being banged up on the last drive. He steps back. He wanted Shields. It wasn't open. Fires one to the right side. No one in the area. And it will bring up a 2nd and 10.
Such a good job from this East defense, especially that secondary. Guys stepping up, locking down these big name receivers. I mean, Maximilian Johnson did have the big play in the first half, but other than that, he's been held in check. And I mean, he's 3rd in the GMC, and I believe Chandler Shields is 4th, and they've just been going nowhere tonight.
Yeah, both those receivers are key parts of Middletown's offense. And aside from that one catch, like you said, they've been pretty much shut down by the East secondary. So credit to those corners. Blitz coming up the middle. The handoff to James, though, he is able to find a little bit of a hole. Gets about 5. It will bring up a 3rd down and 5 deep in East territory. Middletown got to be careful. They don't want to punt from this far back.
Yeah, they've had a couple of blocked punts on the year already. Don't want to have that happen again. Already saw a special teams error from them, allowing that kick return touchdown. Trying to avoid the punt here, but when it's a 3rd and 7 like this, and you haven't been throwing the ball well, interesting to see what's going to happen here.
James in the backfield, 3 receivers out to the left. Lander steps back, fires, one to the running back, James. It bounces out of his hands. And, man, we've seen some pretty easy drops in this second half. 4th down from deep in East territory should see Middletown try to punt it, and they've got to be careful because they're going to be punting it from their own end zone.
Well, the field is definitely still damp, and that ball is still a little bit wet. See the receiver still having no gloves on. And that's 2 drop passes from the running backs. It looked like virtually the same play. Both running backs on both teams dropping it. That was East defense cut a break on that one.
So what should have probably been a 1st down for Middletown leads them to punt it on 4th down. The dangerous returner, Carter Jones, is back there. The punt goes up. It's a little bit of a shank. It's going to bounce to about the 42-yard line before it's down. So East does have a short field, and they're going to look to score on this drive.
Yeah, got to capitalize here. Got to put more points on the board. Offense looked great in the first half. Had to punt in the first drive in the second half. Defense showing up this second half, not letting Middletown come back in this game. Now all offense has to do is go down, put some points up, put this game even more out of reach.
And I think it's not even these 2 offenses coming out flat in the second half. I think it's just these 2 defenses coming out pumped out of the locker room because both offenses have had a few things work for them, but all in all, both defenses have really stopped both offenses from driving all the way down the field.
Yeah, with the rain dying down, expect Kitna to throw much more passes than he did in the first half, and he already threw a lot more than we thought he would.
Under center, fakes the handoff to Ryder Hooks. Kitna winds up, airs one out deep. He's got Zion Neal open, and Zion Neal catches the wide open touchdown.
I mean, just wide open. No one even near him. It was like he was returning a punt. Perfect throw from Kitna. And what a way to show up in this second half. Already putting points on the board, and that's just going to fire up your defense even more to go out and get another stop and do that again.
Yeah, you saw it. I believe Middletown just kind of bit on the play action. Obviously, Kitna under center doesn't throw it from there as much, and man, that corner just left Zion Neal in no man's land as he had a free touchdown on that one. He's had long touchdowns in the last few games. The extra point is good. So East is now up 26-9, and they have a little bit of a control over this game. Middletown's got some urgency now.
Now East has all the momentum. Middletown's going to have to find something, maybe call a trick play, just get a big play where they can move the ball more on offense. But even if they get down to that red zone, East playing such good red zone defense this year and in this game. They looked shaky in the first half a little bit with letting Middletown get down to that area, but when they got there, it was lights out, and they're playing lights out defense right now. 2 big stops to start this game, and East is taking control.
And as the kickoff teams come back out here, another development in the Princeton game. Hamilton continues to just run up the score. The game is already over there as they weren't delayed for kickoff. And Hamilton won that one 34-0. So with that, East now has a pretty big chance to win the GMC if they can win out. And it's going to come down to that East-West game, which we already knew would be huge, and now it's even bigger.
Well, obviously the rain affecting something down in Princeton. 0 points, and Hamilton is putting up 34. I mean, as an East fan, I'm really glad we already got that Hamilton game out of the way, beating them in overtime at their house.
The ball came out on that kickoff return. And the refs are marking him down. East thinks they have the ball. Refs discussing. And they're going to give East the ball. Oh. Contradicting signals from the ref. We had one signal East ball, one signal Middletown ball. I think Middletown's going to get away with that one. And
East Silent was fired up. Thought they had the fumble. I thought they did too.
And nonetheless, if there was anything you didn't want on special teams if you're Middletown, it's that, because I think the ref's not giving him the ball there. It's just going to fire up this East defense even more.
And something shocking from the Princeton game, in that first half, Hamilton was up 27-0 at halftime. Hamilton had 11 first downs to Princeton's 0. Obviously, the rain affecting that Princeton offense, and maybe Hamilton trying to go for that GMC title.
Run up the middle. That's the first carry for Ward on the night. He got about 6, brings up a 2nd and 4. Middletown obviously going to have to hurry up and move the ball now as they are down by 3 possessions. Urgency in the Middletown offense if they want to come back.
Now it's crunch time. You gotta move the ball. Gotta have some big plays. Put some points on this board. Cannot punt the ball back to East offense.
Throw there. It's going to be in the hands. It's intercepted. Cole Miranda. Big plays in back-to-back games. And East is set up in prime field position. It bobbled, but Cole Miranda was able to scoop it up. And East has the ball.
Well, he had the onside kick recovery last week. It's the big interception here. Ball was tipped about 8 times, but he pulled it in. Middletown looking just stunned right now.
Yeah, and Middletown obviously started off the season 4-0, but after last week against West, looks like things are continuing in the same direction as Middletown now has an even bigger hole to climb out of as East has the ball back on Middletown's side of the field, and they are obviously riled up after the turnover. First play will be an end around to Zion Neal, who looks like he might have passed it, but he kept it trying to fight off that linebacker, Chambers. I think he got on his face mask, so the first penalty of the game is going to be a face mask on Zion Neal.
That's stiff arm. Interesting. I thought he might pass out of that. Saw him thrown before the game, had some deep throws, but
see what the refs call. Like we said earlier, first time they've called a penalty in the second half, and the only one before that was on the initial kickoff. No signal yet. I believe it might have been maybe some defensive holding, because the East did get a free 5 yards, and now it's second and only about 3.
I think they're going to call it first. Maybe first down still.
Nonetheless, it's a run to Ryder Hooks, who got a hole. He carried Chambers with him for about 4 yards, and he's got enough for the first down.
Well, Ryder Hooks trying to come alive in this second half, carrying a defender as he was trying to drag him down. Was held in check in that first half, but trying to prove that he is still the guy out there in this game.
So, fresh set of downs for East. They march closer and closer to the red zone. Ryder Hooks was a little bit slow in the first half, but he's definitely picked it up here in the second. He'll get another handoff to the left side. He cuts up the middle, and another big run by Ryder Hooks. He's still up, and he's got a first down for Lakota East.
Well, now it just gets harder and harder if you're Middletown's defense, your offense. Two, 3 and outs, and the interception. You're just on the field constantly, just getting tired out, and now you got to go and try and tackle Ryder Hooks, who is hungry for more yards in this second half, and it's just tough.
So East is now in the red zone at about the 14-yard line. They're looking for more points. They've pretty much had their way in this second half. Kitna takes the snap and hands it off to Ryder Hooks once again, and another big hole for Ryder Hooks. Almost escaped to the end zone, but he was brought down. I believe Emery was on the tackle that saved what would have been a Ryder Hooks touchdown.
Just hit the right side. I thought he might be gone, but he's moving the ball well, running the ball, not having to throw it at all. But they do like to throw it down here in the red zone, see what happens here.
And after what was a little bit of a slow half for Ryder Hooks, he looks like he's back in form. We've seen him carry linebackers on his back a few plays in a row now. And he's one of those running backs that gets better as the game goes on. Kitna by himself in the backfield. Steps back. Wants Ryder Hooks on the left side. He's got him. Hooks tried to stretch the ball out, but he's going to be short. He's at the 1 yard line. He wanted his second touchdown of the year, and he's only about 3 inches short.
Well, I wouldn't be shocked if they just go with him here. I think that would be a first down. So first down and 10, you got 4 tries to just punch this ball right into the end zone.
First and goal from the 1 yard line. And Middletown kind of just stunned on this drive. Ryder Hooks has been the man of the show as he takes it up the middle and walks in for his second rushing touchdown of the year. And now East has a 32-9 lead, and they have an orderly lead on this Middletown team.
But now it's looking bleak for Middletown. East pulling away in this second half. Now we're getting into the blowout that you predicted, Max, that we were going to see. I predicted somewhat of a closer game. I predicted 31-21, but East already have 32 points, and it's just looking like it's going to get out of hand in this one.
Yeah, not on pace for what I thought would be a 50-plus point game for East, weather maybe being a factor, but they're on pace for over 40 in this one as the extra point from Fitzstevens is good, and East is up 33-9. And like you said, a pretty big lead on Middletown now. I don't know how Middletown's going to come back from this.
Well, this is looking like a totally different defense on East than what we saw in the first half. They did only allow 9 points, but big runs, sustained runs, 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, all the way downfield on these run plays. It was looking like Middletown, it might be like a back-and-forth offense showing, but that second quarter in this second half, East has slowed it down. They're not letting them run anymore. They're forcing incompletions. You already see the 2 interceptions. Middletown's going to have to find something else to try.
And East's been doing a good job of just kind of hitting Landers on every passing play, and you wonder if they're in his head as he now has 2 interceptions on the night, a couple of errant throws on screen passes, and, I mean, Landers has been pretty much shut down in the second half. They've really only had any success on the ground, and even then, like you said, this East defense has come out of halftime firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, well, that'll drive their interception numbers up even more. They've thrown the most interceptions in the GMC. Jeremiah Landers having 3 himself. Add the 2 from tonight, he has 5, and their backup also has 2 interceptions, so in a total 7. So obviously teams like to throw the ball. It's the fun thing to do in football, but when you're throwing that many interceptions, I would shy away from it next week.
Yeah, and I think it's just a result of them trying to get it out to those 2 receivers. We see one right now on the return. It's Chandler Shields, who's wrapped up at the 25 after a pretty good return. But Chandler Shields and Maximilian Johnson are really the firepower of this Middletown offense, and when you can't get them the ball, we've seen it the last 2 weeks, it's kind of shut down Middletown's whole scheme.
Yeah, well, you're exactly right. I mean, West had them shut down completely. And East, although I've said it a couple times now, Maximilian Johnson did have that one big play. He's just been going nowhere. Chandler Shields, they have not looked in sync from their quarterback. Bunch of missed throws, not really getting open. East defense doing a great job keeping them contained.
Credit to Jones Anderson and Chetney, the 2 corners on the ends have really shut down those 2 receivers as the run up the middle goes nowhere. Parker Elam, along with 3 other East defenders, shut it down.
But now it's a struggle because East is ready for the runs now, not letting them go nowhere. Now you got to throw the ball. We've already thrown 2 picks today. Got to try and avoid another one, but.
And they've got enough time to mount a comeback, but it's interesting to see them still running the ball up the gut. They don't have all the time in the world. And also interesting to see who they've run the ball with. Joseph Ward been the running back out there for most of this second half, and he usually lines up at receiver. So not really sure what's going on the coaching side for Middletown as that one fired out to Shields, who gets past Chetney initially, gets about 9 yards. We'll see if the refs give him the first down, and they will. So they'll move the chains for Middletown, and they've got a fresh set of downs.
Yeah, well, anytime Chandler Shields has really gotten the ball is on those mid to maybe deep curl routes, and they've left it open. They're just trying not to let him go over the top. And I think letting him hit those curl routes, it will work, especially in this situation. Just don't want to have them have a big play and get back into this game.
Yeah, we're seeing East really give those receivers some cushion. Handoff up the middle to Ward, and he is swallowed up there. Cohen Reap, initial guy on the tackle, only gets him about 2 yards. Second down coming up.
Well, Well, I've been really impressed with East's ability to stop this run in the second half. I've said it a couple times now. Totally different from what we saw in the first half.
And maybe credit to that D line, who seems to be playing more people in the box in the second half, and it's shut down that Middies run game. Blitz coming as Landers on the keeper tries to get to the left side. Stiff arms Parker Elam, but he is pushed out after about 4. It'll bring up third down.
Landers is one of the bigger quarterbacks in the GMC. They have him listed as 6'2", 190, and he used the stiff arm there. Pushed down Parker Elam, but I believe he picks up the first down. You're not.
It's going to be third and about 5. He was pushed out of bounds.
A big opportunity here for East. Force a fourth down, and you got to think in this situation, if it does go to fourth down, do you punt or do you just try and go?
You got to go for it if you're Middletown. This is crunch time. If you want to win the game, you got to do it here. Middletown rolls out. Landers trying to find somebody. He's chased by Cohen Reap, and he's able to find Johnson. He's got enough for the first down. Nice possession catch on the right side, and that'll move the sticks.
Well, just a simple out route, roll out right. Get it to your best receiver, best player on the field. Moving the ball. This is the first time we've seen them move the ball in this second half. But still, time is ticking away. Only got 3 minutes, 30 seconds in this third quarter. Like you said, still time to mount a comeback, but I think if you are going to do that, this is the drive to put some points up on the board.
This the most sustained drive we've seen from Middletown in the second half. Here's a screen pass to Maximilian Johnson on the left side, and a great tackle there by Zion Jones-Anderson. Stops him in his tracks. Thought maybe he would get the edge, but not today.
Zion Jones-Anderson has had a great night tackling Maximilian Johnson. He's really shut him down. I mean, he saved the touchdown where he tripped him from behind and the big one there, not letting him go anywhere. What a night he's had.
Yeah, and we're seeing him really always lined up on Maximilian Johnson. Seems like that was the game plan going in, making sure you have your best corner on the best receiver on that Middletown offense. Johnson and Shields both to the top right. Handoff up the middle to Ward, goes nowhere. And Aiden Gideon makes the stop in the middle.
I mean, he had nowhere to run in this second half. Just if he's able to crack down on those short throws. Oh.
And Ward is down at the end of that play. We'll step away for a moment while the training staff takes a look at him. We welcome you back. Great news here in the Hawk Nest. Joseph Ward went down. He was holding his back, but he is walking off with the assistance of some trainers.
Really hope he's okay.
Scary
transfer. JoJo Ward.
Scary injury.
And
Always good to see him, though, being able to walk off with at least some assistance. As he walks off, we can look back at the situation around the GMC like we mentioned earlier. We thought maybe there was something wrong with the score in the Hamilton game, but it is the case, 34-0 for Hamilton, and like we talked about earlier, now the GMC wide open for any team to take at this point.
Well, yeah, now I think it's a race between, Princeton's still in it, I would say. Lakota East now trying to maybe take the crown. That West game is going to be huge. That's in a couple weeks. I think it's a race between Lakota West, Princeton, and Lakota East. And maybe Hamilton.
Yeah, not sure. We're going to have to see some film on that game. Not sure if weather was the issue for Princeton in that one, maybe injuries. But Hamilton really not been an offensive powerhouse this season, and they put up 34 unanswered against Princeton, which is pretty much unheard of.
Yeah, they were shut down against West. It was like 31-3 or something. So really shocked they were able to put up 34 points on Princeton.
So back to football after the injury. Dimitri and James back in the game after JoJo Ward went out. Fakes the handoff. Fires one deep. Landers was trying to find Shields, and it was barely out of his reach. That one, honestly, probably should have been a catch. But it brings up a 4th and 9, and I think a must-go-for-it situation for Middletown.
Yeah, this is a drive. Like you said, you got to score points. Must go for it here. But, we've seen a lot of missed throws from Jeremiah Landers tonight. Obviously, weather probably having a huge impact, but just a little bit overthrown there. If he's able to connect on that, this game's a little bit different.
Yeah, credit to the D-line on East. They've really been getting pressure on him, not giving him time to really wind up comfortably in the pocket as he steps back on 4th and 9, fires one out to Shields, who's got it on the right side, makes the first corner miss, but Connor Cruz makes the strong tackle. And we see Shields being a factor finally. He's run that route a lot in this game, and he seems to be open on every single one.
Yeah, well, they hit on that one, picking up the first down and first drive in this second half where we've seen Middletown move the ball, trying to get back to what they were doing in that first quarter. East obviously cracked down on the runs. Now you're having to move the ball through the air. Got to avoid that interception.
Jones Anderson really shut down Maximilian Johnson in this game aside from the one catch. They fired over the middle there, caught by Gibson. He's got about 9 before he's wrestled down by Cohen Reap.
And that'll just be Gibson's 10 catch on the year. I think that will get him over 100 yards, so props to him. First catch of this ball game.
Yeah, missed one earlier on. He's able to corral that one. 2nd and 1 for Middletown. They're driving, but it has been a long drive, longer than they probably would have liked. They're running out of time. East showing blitz, and they do bring it on 2nd and 1, firing out to the left side, trying to get it to Gibson again, but that time the throw too far out of bounds. It'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Well, normally, if this was the first half, I don't think Middletown would have a problem running this ball, getting that first down, but East not letting them go anywhere. In this second half, wonder if they'll go away from the run. You saw it on the 4th down and 9, and on 4th and short, 3rd and short, they were able to get a little bit quick throws to their receivers. Wonder if they'll run it here.
3rd and 1. The biggest thing I've realized East change after halftime, they've been subbing in a lot of D linemen, keeping that line fresh, and I think it's really been the factor that has shut down this Middletown run offense. As East shows blitz again, they bring 6, trying to find Shields. It's barely over his head. Same route we've seen from him a lot. That's the first time Landers hasn't been able to find him on it, and it's 4th down and 1. Another must-go-for-it situation for Middletown.
Yeah, well, this is a huge play in this game. I think if they don't convert here, this one's almost out of the question for a comeback. But if they're able to convert here, keep their comeback hopes alive. But 4th and 1, big play.
Keeper to Landers, who gets a hole. He's going to be free to the end zone. Oh my goodness, the entire East team thought the running back was getting the ball, and it gave Middletown a free touchdown, and this game just got a whole lot more interesting.
Well, if they kick the extra point, it's going to be 33-16, and now East offense is going to have to respond. But, I mean, what a play from Jeremiah Landers. Just, they were definitely expecting the run, and the lineman shot just the wrong gaps. Landers able to find a hole, go right up the field for that touchdown. That was a big drive. That was a huge drive for Middletown to keep their hopes in this game. And especially with their wide receiver, JoJo Ward, going down with that injury, just trying not to have that kill their momentum.
Middletown going to go for 2 because if they get it and they score, they could make it a one-possession game. Here's Landers looking to the right, and it's out of the hands. Maximilian Johnson couldn't bring it in, and now East has a 3-possession lead no matter what happens. And Middletown obviously trying to come back, but they've got to stop the East offense first. And that Middletown defense has struggled, to say the least, in the second half.
Yeah, well, East hasn't seen the ball in a while, maybe taking some of the momentum out of them. But the way they played this second half, I think they're ready. I think you're going to see a lot of passes. They're not going to play passively. They're going to want to put more points on the board, respond to Middletown, and say, hey, you're not coming back in this game.
And not a drive similar to those we saw against Mason, where East defense just stays on the field for so long. Not ideal for a defense. Gets your offense rested, but also sucks some momentum out of them, especially when a long drive like that ends in a touchdown. And so Middletown's defense will try to make a stop as they kick it off here.
Yeah, and I think what kills East defense is they get it to 4th down in these close games, in these games where teams are trying to make a comeback on them, and it seems like every time the team they're playing is just barely able to get that first down on that huge 4th down. Just if they're able to stop some of those 4th down plays, this game is just entirely different.
And it's an onside kick. And oh my goodness, the kicker was blasted on that one. There's a flag. I believe he tried touching it before it passed 10 yards. And oh my goodness, Parker Elam laid out the kicker Nicholas on that one.
I wonder what the flag's going to be on. I mean, that kicker got...
We welcome you back after that huge hit by Parker Elam. The kicker was able to walk off on his own power. I believe the wind was knocked out of him. They'll take a look at him on the sideline. But, man, that onside kick went wrong for Middletown, and now East has all the momentum.
Yeah, that was not a great onside kick, I mean, obviously. Touched it before he even went 10 yards.
Kitna steps back, empty backfield, fires one up deep for Ryder Hooks, who makes the catch on the left side. He mossed that corner. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, Ryder Hooks, he's not the tallest back, but just able to go up, find that ball in the air, make the catch. And JT Kitna, we thought, I mean, the rain has died down, but we thought under 100 passing yards, he's airing it out, man.
Yeah, he's already over 1,000 on the season. He's just patting him right now. And Ryder Hooks making up for those couple of drops he had in the first half because, oh my goodness, that was just
You don't see that a lot from a running back either.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
that corner was a few inches taller than him. No problem for Ryder Hooks. He brought that one in. Huge play, and he's already inside the red zone on this drive. Kitna under center, and Ryder Hooks really been the star of the show for East in the second half. He gets the toss out to the right side. Middletown trying to stop him, but he cuts back in, and he's in the end zone. Oh my goodness, what a series of plays for Ryder Hooks.
I mean, and Middletown just had the huge touchdown drive, and he's scoring in just 2 plays. There's just no hope right now for Middletown.
So Hooks gets his second touchdown of the game and his 3rd touchdown on the season. After not scoring the first few weeks, he's on that scoring table now, and man, he is fired up in this second half. He's pretty much unstoppable.
What a second half he has had. Held in check in the first half, just playing angry this second half. Wow. And that East-West game later in the season is going to be massive. It is going to be massive, and I think Lakota East might have the best offense in the GMC.
I definitely think they have the best passing offense in the GMC without a doubt, and if Ryder Hooks is going to keep playing the way he did in the second half, that run game also looks very scary. But then again, that West defense is also very scary. That's definitely going to be game of the year, I believe, for East. And now that the GMC is on the table for everyone to take, man, I can't wait for that one.
It's gonna be a great one. I can't wait to call it. We hope you tune in and watch that one because it's gonna be something.
And that should be a very fun broadcast to watch as well. East and West Broadcasting going to be working together for that stream. Should have a pregame show. Man, that one's going to be important for both sides. But before we get to that, East has a couple of easy games coming up in their schedule, playing Colerain next week away at Colerain. We hope to stream that one. It's a little bit tough to get them set up on the away games, but we managed to do it last week against Fairfield, so we'll hope to do it again. And then after that, at home against Sycamore, which Sycamore beat Colerain, and other than that, they've really struggled. Not sure how they fared against Fairfield. There's no score listed, but pretty easy to assume that Fairfield took care of that one.
And yeah, East has to avoid those 2 trap games. You can't, like, you've blown out your last 2 opponents. You can't get relaxed and think, oh, this is going to be an easy win. I don't think they'll do that, but just got to avoid those trap games. And oh no.
Here's the kick to Maximilian Johnson. Tries to get up the middle, and he is blasted there by Derek Williams. The receiver made the big tackle.
And I say oh no because he's been running all over this East special teams, but nowhere to go on that one. He's fired up right now.
Yeah, I know they scored 59 against Fairfield last week, but I believe this one's even more impressive than that. Yeah. Considering the weather in the first half and how they've come out in the second half, this is a scary East team. They've already gone up over 200 rankings in the beginning of the season in terms of Ohio rankings, and at 57 right now, they should shoot up even higher. And, man, they've really built a team that's kind of firing right at the right time. So Lander steps back, trying to get anything going. Pressure comes. Parker Elam was able to get to him, but he does throw it away, so 2nd and 10 coming up. And, man, this East defense continues to just execute.
Yeah, I mean, good pressure on the quarterback there. They've been having good pressure all night, making him throw the ball away. If they're able to do that more and more, Middletown's not going to be able to do anything on offense, and Middletown's defense just shell-shocked right now. They're having a rough time.
Yeah, and we see Logan Cole warming up on the sideline. They might put him in for this next offensive drive. He was 4 for 4 last week when they put him in at the end of the game. As Landers fires one to Shields, and it's dropped, and he is blasted by Connor Cruz. And I'm not sure what's gotten into this East defense in this third quarter, but they've been hitting so hard.
I can't believe it's still the third quarter. This, with all the stoppage from injuries and incomplete passes, there's still another quarter of football to be played. And if East keeps on playing the way they've been playing, this offense could put up crazy numbers.
And my prediction for this game coming in was 51 points from East, and they're on pace now to do it. 3rd and 10. Lander slips in the backfield as pressure comes. Parker Elam unable to get the tackle. He just airs one out deep to Maximilian Johnson. And it's bounced out, and now a flag. The first we've seen in coverage. And maybe just a little bit too much contact. We've seen the corners play clean so far. We'll see what the refs call. Yeah, it's going to be pass interference on Zion Jones-Anderson. I thought that one might have been clean. The refs have been letting him play, but
Yeah, I think he did get there a little bit early, but as an East fan, that's no fun to watch. Oh,
ball coming back.
did they call it?
And it might have been.
I don't think they called it. If they didn't, oh, no.
Oh, there we go. The
There we
ref
go. All right.
counting out those yards.
Yep.
15-yard penalty.
I think he did get there a little bit early. It was great defense, just so hard to gauge when the receiver is turned and you're running full speed at him to try to break up that pass. All you can do, you have no idea where the ball is in the air. All you can do is just run full speed at him and hope you time it perfectly. Just that's hard to do as a corner.
Especially
corner is the toughest position to play in football.
Especially against a receiver like Maximilian Johnson, who's just so fast. Can't really ask anything else out of your corner on that play while the quarterback's rolling out. 2 seconds left in this third quarter. Should be the last play of the quarter. Landers takes the snap, fires it out to the right on the screen pass as Maximilian Johnson makes the first guy miss. He's got room on the right side. Connor Cruz going to try to chase him down. He's not going to get there, and Maximilian Johnson takes it all the way. And some life late in this Middletown offense.
Well, if Middletown's defense was able to stop East at all, then maybe this game would be much more of a game than it is. But just, I mean, they're scoring quick. It's still the third quarter. Maximilian Johnson, all right, he's been hard to contain. He's always hard to contain. I mean, huge play there for the touchdown. And now it's like East's going to have to keep getting it out on offense, put up more points.
Yeah, and, I mean, we talked about it. This game been moving pretty slowly. And obviously after this PAT, they'll switch sides of the field to end the quarter. They're going for two. Weren't able to get it last time. Lander steps back, fires it out to the left side, and Shields made the grab in bounds. What a catch. Middletown got a little bit of momentum late, and this might be an interesting fourth quarter. And as the team switch sides, we'll step away and come back for what should be an interesting end. We welcome you back, and after that score, take a look at Kitna's season stats because he's going to have to stay out there. East got to be careful not to sell this game late. They've been good on offense in the second half. It's going to come down to Kitna, the leader in the GMC in passing yards. Middletown will kick it away. They tried an onside kick earlier, and the kicker got blown up. Good to see him out there, though. He was tried out for a concussion, but he's okay. Noah Nicholas will boot this one deep, not trying the onside again. Thurman takes it from about the 8-yard line. Had a pretty good return earlier, trying to change direction of the field. Gets out of one tackle. And the short running back makes easy work of that kick return team. What a return.
Yeah, this kick return team has been great all night. Huge returns. It's really helped out East's offense in terms of field position. And they even put up a touchdown on that return, on that one return in the first half. They've been big. They've been the, how do you say, is it unspoken hero?
Yeah.
Unspoken hero. Sorry, I don't know why. I was thinking of unspoken and unsung. I think it's unspoken hero in this game. Like, they have been amazing.
And I want to shout out Braxton Thurman, the sophomore running back, came in at the end of the Fairfield game, scored a touchdown, and he's gotten his chance to shine on special teams, and he's taken advantage as Ryder Hooks continues to have a great second half as he blows through the secondary, and he's got 15 yards to start the drive.
I mean, Middletown wants to come back in this game. Obviously, their offense wants to come back. Their defense, not so much. I don't know whether it's just East offense is so fired up right now. Ryder Hooks wanting to just destroy them, and just John Kittner calling plays where they're moving the ball downfield in huge chunks. Just like I said, Middletown's offense, they want to come back. Middletown's defense just looking stagnant right now.
And in a game where we thought Ryder Hooks might not break 100 yards, he only had 22 in the first half. He's just turned things around. East continues to maintain control even after that offensive drive by Middletown. They've scored on the last 2 drives, but East has just answered right back. Chauncey Peck will get the carry now, and he just blows through the D-line again. Huge run. The offense still pushing him forward. They'll call him down on forward progress, but a gain of 8, and what a run by Chauncey Peck. Both running backs are firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, they're finding the holes in the offensive line much better than they did in the first half, and that's been what has been working for them. Offensive line creating those gaps the runners can just run through for huge plays. And like you said, Max, just even though Middletown is somewhat taking momentum with their offense, East just taking it right back.
And it seems like this D-line might just be tired out because they are just not getting any penetration at all. And both running backs taking advantage of that, just lunging forward for big yardage. Chauncey Peck continues to stay out there after that 8-yard run. 2nd and 3. Still in the shotgun. They've liked it in the second half. Fakes the handoff, tosses it out to McFarland, who had a great first half, and he's going to get a lot of yards on this one. He's still wrestling forward, and he's down at the 28-yard line. And, man, he has really become a factor for this East offense.
Yeah, he's their #1 receiver right now, and he had a great game last week and an even better game this week. He's got the gloves back on. You see all the receivers having that. Rain has fully stopped, and the wind is basically gone. East should have no trouble moving this ball down the field.
Yeah, the remnants of Helene have moved on, and East is firing right now. And interesting kind of to think about, McFarland obviously playing tight end, but flashes of Andy Vogelman from last year, the graduate, really kind of stepping up into his spot, being that huge receiver who they can just find in the flat, and he gets those yards after the catch that you love to see on offense. Peck's still out there at running back, and he gets the handoff up the middle. Gets about 3 before he's taken down. The first time Middletown's really been able to stop the run game on this drive.
Yeah, and even then, he was able to lunge forward for about 3 yards. I think you're right, Max. His D-line is just so tired out. Not a lot of depth there. You got to keep your best guys out on the field, and when you're doing that all game, they're just going to get tired. You've already allowed 40 points. I mean, it's just tough to go out there and really want to get a stop.
East has a 2nd down and 9. Thought Peck got more yards on that run than he did. It was only a gain of 1. Same formation we've seen pretty much all of this drive. Kittner takes the snap, hands it off to Peck on the left side. Peck able to find some room, trying to get the edge, and he is still up. What a run by Chauncey Peck. I think he got the first down. Yeah, he did.
Well, when it hasn't been Ryder Hooks in this second half running the ball, it's been Chauncey Peck, and what a game Chauncey Peck has had. Really his first huge action that he's gotten since Ryder Hooks has returned from injury, and boy, he is really fired up, and he's 8th right now in GMC rushing yards, and he's only played like 2 games fully, and what a night he's had.
Now we'll stick with you through this timeout taken by Middletown. And, I mean, both running backs on East already towards the top of the GMC, and right now they're continuing to do that. Chauncey Peck was kind of involved a little bit less in the last few games, but he's stepped up again, and now it looks like they've got a full dual threat in that backfield.
Yeah, all year you've seen it, just Ryder Hooks, Chauncey Peck, Ryder Hooks, Chauncey Peck. It's kind of slowed down. It's been a lot more Ryder Hooks, but when you got 2 great running backs back there and an offensive line who's been playing amazing this year, it's hard not to run the ball. And on top of that, you got the best quarterback in the GMC with great receivers. This East offense is looking deadly.
And I believe we actually have an injury on the field there. We'll stick with you through it. Not sure who it was on.
I don't.
Training staff checking him out. He's on the left sideline. As East kneels, they've got a lot of things that they're happy about. Clicking on offense. As we try to figure out who's down there, we're going to step away for a moment. We'll step away for a moment as we let the We welcome you back. The injury to Braden Watkins, the safety from Middletown. Bad news for them. He's pretty much their only listed safety. They usually run a defense with only one high safety, and they just lost him on that play there. Hope he's okay. He's able to walk off with some assisted power. And after that injury timeout, obviously always hate to see injuries. And it's really hard to get your momentum back after one of those, especially on a drive that's been going so well for East. Everyone got to get their composure back here as East's been running the ball very effectively on this drive. Ryder Hooks back in the game. We saw Chauncey Peck in for a majority of the drive after Hooks started off hot on this one. And he's had his way the second half. Kittner steps back to pass. Fires one out to the right side. And trying to find Chris Boyer, but it was just barely out of his reach. 2nd and 10 coming up.
From my angle, it looked like a very dangerous throw. The corner was just going to have an easy interception, but just puts it a little bit too far out of reach, trying to hit the huge wide receiver, Chris Boyer.
They're going hurry up here in the pistol. Hand off to Ryder Hooks, who's got some room on the right side. He's trying to get the edge, but he is tackled down there. Good tackle by Coleman, the corner.
Flag does fly, though.
Not sure who this one's going to be on. The rest were pretty much uninvolved through the first 3 quarters. Aside from one pass interference that was called. This is going to be holding on the East offense. It'll back them up 10 yards.
Well, this could be, only 8 minutes left in this game. Looking a little bit out of reach for Middletown, but if only they were able to get this stop sooner in this drive, they would have had a real chance, but East offense just so good, putting up 40 points in a hurricane.
Yeah.
Backed up very deep.
Yeah, see where the refs spot the ball at about the 27-yard line. And I think Middletown's offense just kind of got into a rhythm just barely too late in this game. Now you're down 3 scores.
Yeah,
obviously anything can happen, but
too little, too late.
Kittner takes the snap, steps back, pump fakes. Now he'll fire one over the middle to Jaden Shea. And Jaden Shea, that big play receiver, doesn't get too many receptions, but when he does get them, they're for big yards, and that time he moves the sticks.
We saw it last week. I think he had 2 catches for up over 70 yards. He had that huge 50-plus yard touchdown. And like you said, whenever he gets the ball, it's usually a huge play. He leads the GMC in average yards per reception, and you see right there, huge play, picks up the first down, just wide open in the middle of the field. Good job from Kittner, pump faking and finding him. And now East right near the goal line.
1st and goal from the 5. Kittner steps back, fakes the handoff, trying to fire one out to the left, and it is bobbled there. Jaden Shea wanted the touchdown, and a rare drop from him. One of those guys in the GMC averages over 20 yards a catch. And that's not off of just 1 or 2 catches. That's off of around 7 receptions. So pretty consistent there. Rare to see him drop one pretty easy like that. 2nd and goal from the 5 coming up. Ryder Hook's probably looking for his 3rd touchdown of the night. In motion, Zion Neal. Hand off to the left. Ryder Hooks cuts inside. And he's in for his 3rd touchdown of the night. East continues to maintain power in this game.
Oh boy, Ryder Hooks did not have a lot of touchdowns on the season. This game, 3 of them. And man, is he fired up. As an East fan, I'm fired up. It's good to see him getting into the end zone. It's interesting because the first couple games is just seem to have a struggle running the ball down in the goal line area. And of course, coming off that injury, maybe not want to push the pile on him, but 3 touchdowns in this one. He is back in full force.
Extra point from Fitzstevens coming. And like we said, if Middletown's defense could get any stops in this game, it would be a completely different looking matchup. But man, that East offense is scary through the pass and the run. Ryder Hooks took care of business on that drive. The extra point is good. And now East has a orderly 47-23 lead. And I think they're looking to pass that 50 mark.
I mean, yeah, it depends on what Middletown does. I mean, anything can happen. Middletown could run out this whole clock and end the game, or Middletown could have one huge play that goes for a touchdown, or they go 3 and out. Really depends on what they see, but I think East will try to get the 50 bomb again, and that'll be back-to-back 50-point games for them. And there's no hotter team in the GMC right now, I think. Maybe Lakota West, but...
Yeah, but both Lakotas are really paralleling each other. They've had the same matchups the last 2 weeks, and they've both done pretty much the same thing. West defense was a little bit more effective against Middletown, but, man, I mean, credit to both West and East offenses. The last 2 weeks they've been hot, and if East continues this pace, they'll get over 50, and like we said earlier, that East-West game going to be probably the most important we've seen in the last decade or so.
Yeah, I mean...
Kickoff deep out of the end zone, and Middletown will start at the 20. See what they come out with on this offensive drive.
Yeah, I mean, I said a couple times that Lakota West, Lakota East game is going to be massive. I think it could be game of the year in the GMC. And that one's going to be a fun one to watch. And you talk about Middletown's offense, defense, Lakota East defense has allowed 23 points to them, but most of those points have come when it's just the game is so far out of reach that it doesn't really even matter. And East defense got it done when it was close. They held them to 9 points in that first half. So just, it does look like Middletown has had a lot of success on offense. Just, it's like you said, it's just too little, too late.
And a couple of those points from the Middletown offense as that screen pass sails over the head of the receiver have come on chunk plays where it's just been kind of a miscommunication on the East defense, some irregularities. Obviously, the touchdown run by Landers seems like everyone on the defense bit, and that long touchdown by Maximilian Johnson, just his speed doing the work there. But, I mean, other than that, this East defense has looked solid.
Yeah, maybe not the best game for them, but still a game where they held the game in their hands. They didn't let it get too out of control, and they stopped them when they needed to.
7.5 minutes are left in this game as Middletown tries to find anything on offense. Landers airs one up deep for Shields. Barely overthrown, and that would have been a touchdown. That corner fell down, but it didn't matter too much on that pass.
Yeah, you've seen that all night. Just missed throws too far deep. Jeremiah Landers on his knees right now, just not quite sure what is going wrong, but if they're able to connect on those deep balls, I mean, this game is entirely different. Saw them wide open there, just too much on it. Just trying to get it to their best players right now.
Yeah, trying to find anything late. Down by 24 points. Still a 3-possession game, but not really enough time to make it interesting as Lander steps back on 3rd down, fires it to the left, and it bounced out. Good defense there. Zion Jones-Anderson again, or sorry, Chetnia with the pass breakup.
That was great defense there. Just put his hands out and knock that ball away. That's going to bring up a 4th down and 10. Middletown got to go for it. I would not be shocked if Middletown does not convert here that you might see Logan Cole come in at QB.
Yeah, but Middletown been good on 4th down in the second half. They've converted a couple of 4th and longs. But yeah, like you said, this will really determine if this game is completely over or not. As Landers looks like he'll punt it. Pretty high kick. Not what I was expecting at all. And that backspin just not going to help Middletown as East will get the ball at the 35. And very surprised to see Middletown not try something there on offense.
Yeah, I mean, in this situation, maybe you don't want to have East have good field position, but even then, the punt was not great at all, and that backspin really killed it. And East has great field position anyways. Surprised they didn't try and do something there. Pretty much conceding defeat with that punt.
Yeah, we might see some backups get a chance. It looks like Logan Cole is in that huddle, but most of the East starting receivers are still out there. And yeah, it is going to be Logan Cole. So Kitna did his job. Looks like East going to come away with the W, and now it's the junior Logan Cole who they put in last week at the end of the Fairfield game. He was 4 for 4 for 21 yards. See what he does on offense. The 6'6 quarterback bobbles the first snap he gets, and he is just wrapped up. The first sack of the night for Middletown comes on Logan Cole's first offensive snap.
Well, I mean, that's surprising that the first sack is coming here in the 4th quarter. But, I mean, both quarterbacks have done a great job getting the ball out quick, throwing it away when they've had to. Not the ideal start for Logan Cole, but he was 4 for 4 last week. I expect John Kitna to throw in some pass plays here, see what he can do. With 6 minutes left, maybe we'll get a bigger sample size than we did last week.
Especially with all those starters out there. This time a handoff to Peck up the middle, and he's still pushing forward. After that big loss, he gets some of those yards back. It'll bring up 3rd and 14. And we might get to see Logan Cole use his arm for the first time tonight.
Well, I mean, he is a huge quarterback, 6'6", 210. I mean, when you got a guy like that, and he has a huge arm, see him throwing before the game. He can throw it from the 50 to the back of the end zone. It's 3rd and 16. If I'm Coach Kitna, I'm letting him throw this thing.
In the shotgun, Cole will look to convert the 3rd and long. He steps back, and a flag there. He got it, I believe, to Beckett Bush, but I think it was a false start on the East offense.
Well, first time in this second half that East offense has really slowed down and got the backup quarterback in there. You somewhat expect that. But, I mean, almost all the penalties tonight have gone against Lakota East, and yet they've still been able to control this game and play it how they want to play it.
And they've done a good job of not getting into those rhythms where they get penalties one after another. Obviously, a lot of backups in there right now. Cole fires 1, 2. Carter Jones, he had it in his hands. It bounces out. A perfect pass there. Just hit Jones in the chest, and it bounces off his shoulder pads. It'll bring up a 4th and very long, and we should see the first official punt from East. We saw Kitna do a punt earlier, and Fitzstevens, the kind of official punter for East, will get his first shot to boot it deep.
I mean, yeah, that was a perfect throw. I mean, you got a safety right behind you and a corner right in front of you. It's a hard catch to make, but no one was really in the wrong there. Just good defense from Middletown.
So for the first time tonight, we see the official punt team for East out there. They will try to pin Middletown deep. Fitzstevens boots it up. Looks like a good one. No flag there. As
I wonder if he didn't call a fair catch.
Yeah, I don't believe he did. Something that riddled East in the game against Princeton, something we thought would be fair catch interference, wasn't called because there was no fair catch called. And that looks like the case here. A beautiful punt, by the way, by the freshman A.J. Fitzstevens.
Yeah, trying to get that punting team more in a rhythm. It's not been particularly amazing this year. I mean, they don't average huge numbers on the punts, and that's huge in high school football. Field position is a massive thing, but just trying trying to get them more in sync, kicking the ball farther. But that one was a great punt.
And now on this drive, we see Jason Bourne for the first time tonight. Takes his first snap. It's a handoff up the middle. The ball came out on that play. There's a scuffle for it. And not sure who ended up with it. Looks like Middletown's defense is running out there, and East gets another turnover late. Oh, my goodness.
Well, what a huge hit. The fumble. East is going to get, our offense is going to get back out there, trying for the 50 bomb. And, I mean, East has done so well winning the turnover battle in this game. That's been a huge point. And we talked about the fumbles happening. Lakota East had a fumble. I mean, just Middletown has had so many turnovers, the 2 interceptions. And the fumble there just, it's not been, if you're Middletown, your offense has not been efficient. They put up points, but it's just not efficient. And it cannot keep up with this East offense.
Yeah, and they've had a few drives really work, but just crucial errors by the Middletown offense have really set them back. As Logan Cole gets another chance on offense, he rolls out to the left, trying to find someone, airs it out to the end zone, in the hands and back out of the hands there. The receiver, Sebastian Parks, had a chance for a touchdown, and man, he wishes he could have that one back.
That is 2 drop touchdowns now from these East receivers. One from Jaden Say, and there from Sebastian Parks. 2 huge plays that would have East scoring more points, but it was a good throw from Logan Cole, able to roll out left, put the throw on the money. Just wonder if that ball is still a little bit slick.
Yeah, Logan Cole been good throwing the ball. Just a couple bad drops. We see Thurman get his first carry of the game to the left side. He had a touchdown last week late, but that time Middletown takes care of business. I believe that's Brian on the tackle. And it brings up a 3rd down and 14. And Logan Cole probably not too pleased with how his receivers have been handling his throws.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a touchdown for him. His first touchdown of the season just dropped, but don't be shocked if they run it here. Trying to get in field goal range.
Fakes the handoff, rolls out right. He's got the tight end there, Christopher Stowe, the sophomore. He's short of the first down.
But I think they will call it a catch. So, kicking team's going to come out.
And Fitzstevens will get his first try at an actual field goal. And, I mean, the Princeton game was a nightmare on special teams for the field goal unit, but Fitzstevens has really stepped up the last couple games and been a much more consistent kicker for this East special teams.
Yeah, obviously not letting that Princeton game rattle him. He had that blocked punt that was returned for a touchdown and missed field goal, but that Fairfield game just hit all of his extra points. This game, he's been perfect. See if East can put up 50 for the 2nd week in a row.
Kick up. And it is perfect. Fitzstevens, the freshman kicker, ironed out his mistakes he had earlier in the season after a great punt earlier. And now the field goal. East hit that half-century mark. 50-23 the score. And, I mean, I think John Kitna is just going to be proud of every part of this East team right now.
Yeah, especially proud of that offense. And you're playing against Coleraine next week and Sycamore the next week. If you're hanging 59 points on Fairfield and 50 points against Middletown, I don't even want to know what that Coleraine game is going to be like next week. West able to put up some big numbers on them. But right now, this East offense just looking so good. There's just scoring on almost every possession, and they just take over games. Trying to get a live reading now of scores.
West game. It's been interesting to see the schedule East has had. It's pretty much been the same as West, just 1 week later. And the final score there, I believe, in the West game was 45-0.
Which was expected. I mean, Coleraine, worst team in the GMC, especially after that loss to Sycamore. But lose to West, then they got to go and play East next week. Just not a lot to root for if you're a Coleraine fan. But if you're an East fan, look for some big numbers next week. Kitna could have a career day, or Ryder Hooks. Really, anyone on this offense could just dominate that game and put up some crazy stats.
Yeah, and Tyler Gruber, the kicker for this kickoff, boots it deep. And, I mean, you talk about Colerain fans after such a dominant few decades of football. They've really struggled the last few years as Shields trying to get something on the return. He stopped at about the 25. And, yeah, Colerain hasn't won a game since 2022 after being such a juggernaut in the GMC for so long. I mean, they just really haven't had anyone come in and step up for their team.
I mean, the fall off is crazy, but their first one's not going to happen this year. They've played Sycamore, probably their only hope at winning a game, and they blew it, 14-7. There's just nothing to be said about it. So probably gonna have to wait till next year, and you're losing your senior quarterback, and there's just not a lot of hope, nothing to really look forward to for Colerain.
Yeah, they've got to find some spark to get that program back in the right direction. As Middletown on offense, the pass to the left side by Bourne is caught. I believe Shields on the catch, gets about 5. Second down and 5 coming up as a result. And this game starting to wind down, 3:26 left. And man, I mean, this East defense probably just trying to stop Middletown from scoring again. See a lot of backups out there in the secondary right now.
Yeah, just giving them an opportunity to get some reps in, but it would really be nice if no points were scored on this drive, held them to just 23. Don't want to, because at this point, when the game's so far out of reach, you start looking at just stats, and you start looking at what looks nice for an East fan. And winning 50-23 is much more pleasing to look at than 50-30, because then if it's 50-30, you're thinking, oh, maybe it was kind of close at some point, maybe like big back and forth all night. And there really hasn't been the case. It's just Middletown's only scoring when the game's so far out of reach that it doesn't matter. And obviously East playing less motivated at that point. They're not going to play with as much intensity as they would in a close game. I believe there's a different quarterback in there.
Yeah, Jason Bourne is the quarterback in there at the moment.
Yeah.
The backup, I think, trying to pad some of the stats of those receivers. That time, the screen pass hits the turf. 2:30 left on the clock. And, I mean, like you said, padding stats, they got it out to Shields a few times there. Those two Middletown receivers have got to be frustrated because, obviously, they've got the talent. They just haven't been able to get the ball in their hands.
I mean, and when they have gotten the ball in their hands, they've done great things with it. Just defense not able to keep them in the game. And just, well, like I said, too little too late on those big plays from Chandler Shields and Maximilian Johnson.
Bourne stepping back to pass again. And that one way overthrown. Miranda was looking for his second interception of the game.
Might be shaking. Oh, all right.
Looks like he shook up his leg just a little bit, but he's good. Back up. Would hate to see an injury this late.
Yeah.
And we'll probably see Kitna sub him out. Don't want to risk him getting injured. Connor Cruz will sub in. Connor Cruz also has an interception on the night. And, man, this has been one of the best passing defensive games we've seen from East, I think, all season, to be honest.
Yeah, and the passing touchdowns that Middletown has gotten have been on short throws and screen passes that have just broken through the first line of the defense. And these safeties have done a great job not letting Jeremiah Landers throwing the ball deep, not letting any of that happen.
Bourne loads up over the middle. Dangerous throw through the hands of the receiver there, Jordan Henderson. Couldn't reel that one in.
Like I was saying, like the two corners, Connor Cruz, Cole Miranda, playing so good all night. Cole Miranda having the pick, Connor Cruz having the other interception, and just, like you said, it's probably been East's best job stopping the pass in terms of the secondary. The only big plays that Middletown has gotten is on screen passes.
And I think the best talent they faced at wide receiver, only real receiver that they had to be careful of was the tight end for Princeton, Landon Marie, who's one of the best receivers in the GMC. They were able to shut him down pretty well, and another interception there. We talked about it just seconds ago. That's going to be Connor Cruz, and he's got a lot of room. He had a pick six last week. He's trying to get the corner. He's got the quarterback to beat. Cuts back inside, and he's going to get there. Oh, my goodness. What an exclamation point to end this game. 56-23 now the score, and Connor Cruz gets touchdowns on back-to-back weeks.
What a safety Connor Cruz is, man. 2 picks in this game, another pick six like you just said. What a returner when he gets the ball in his hands. one of the best safeties in the GMC. He doesn't just get interceptions, he gets tackles in a lot of them. He is second on this team in tackles and first in the GMC in interceptions. What a job he's. Oh.
We've got an injury on that play. There's also a flag down. The refs were motioning that it was on Middletown. We're going to, and the Middletown player was able to walk off on his own power, so we will stick with you. See what the refs call it. It's going to be on Middletown. And obviously, East just going to decline it. And the points being taken back off the board. I think there were penalties on both sides, so it will offset. I'm not sure.
What are they going to call? Is it still an interception? I believe it.
If it offsets, it'll be a replay of the down for Middletown on offense. And
I wonder if the penalty on East came on the return, because I didn't see a flag fly before that. And I think they are going to call it an interception and just say the return does not count, because I think the penalty did happen on the return.
I think a block in the back was called on one of the East defenders on the interception. Unfortunate for Connor Cruz, who took that one all the way back again, but it doesn't matter. He gets another interception on the stat sheet at least. And I mean, Scouts are probably going to be happy to see him take that one all the way back nonetheless.
Yeah. Won't show up on the stat sheet, but every East fan knows that he took that one to the house.
So East will get the ball at the 43-yard line. Logan Cole will get another try on offense. His passes have been good. Just a couple of drops from the receivers in the game right now. Braxton Thurman, the other running back out there. Hand off to Thurman up the middle. He tries to push forward, and he's got about 5 on the carry. Braxton Thurman not the biggest running back, but he's definitely got some power.
Yeah, and he had a huge touchdown run last week against Fairfield. It broke like 4 tackles, barreled into the end zone from about 20 yards out. And now it's huge. He is just a sophomore running back, but he has such room to grow and become a huge running back for the future of this Lakota East team.
Especially, you've got Chauncey Peck graduating this year. And I mean, if you're East, you're happy to see Carter Jones and Braxton Thurman, those two running backs who've seen flashes from both sophomores. Obviously, Ryder Hooks will be with us for another year, but got to be happy to see the future of East looking bright at least at the running back position. Handoff up the middle to Thurman again. Good push by the lineman. Get him about 4 yards short of the first down marker. And yeah, like we said, scouting for next year, it looks like Logan Cole's been pretty comfortable in the pocket as well. I think East got to like what they see coming up for next season.
Yeah, well, obviously with JT Kitna moving on to the next level of his football career, Logan Cole's going to have to step up. He's a junior, and he's looked sharp on these throws. And maybe it's against, tired out Middletown defenders who might be backups, but still just making smart decisions. He honestly had a touchdown. It just was dropped. Just nothing. He's looked really good. And being 6'6", 210 pounds, just a huge force in that backfield, running the ball if he can get his legs moving.
And there's Braxton Thurman breaking tackles. He's got a big hole, and he's finally taken down after a gain of about 15. What a run by Braxton Thurman. And with 23 seconds left on the clock, Kitna will sub back in, and it looks like that'll do it for this game. I apologize there. Both teams will let the clock run out, and the final score will be 50-23. We want to thank you so much for watching, sticking through this weather. We want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Butler Tech, Lakota East Spark, as well as all of our athletic boosters. We hope to see you next week away at Colerain. What a game here. I'm Max Earl. With me, as always, is Beck Lucas. Thank you for watching.